Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. We are not halfway through the week, but almost halfway through this show. We'll be halfway through the week, or as we lead up to the Drive Guys. But you got us, Stiles and Watkins, 10-2, as you always do, fastest growing show in Sacramento. And we will have our hands full today as we attempt to break down what happened as the Kings get absolutely throttled by the Dallas Mavericks. We spent a lot of time and we said, hey, this might be the last time we talk about the 4 seed if the Kings don't show up last night. We said that during yesterday's show, and that's what happened. So you will not be hearing about the 4 seed on this show anymore. At this point, just hoping to hold on and to get back, not even hold on, to get back to the 6 seed. The Kings lose 132-96. Okay? I tell people all the time, I'm an English guy, communications guy. Somebody asked me, how much did they lose by? I said, I don't have a calculator on me.
Nope.
That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. Got Simone behind the glass. Going to be doing a great job as always. And we will have the Kings Roundtable. So get your questions in for Frankie Cardicelli and Brendan Nunez. Because what the heck happened? Chris Watkins, how you doing?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned you couldn't tell the score because I was watching the Cavs game the other day, and on their broadcast, they have this thing that shows up above the score that says the diff, and it's like minus something. And I was watching and I was like, what is this? And then I finally figured out that it's literally just showing the score differential in the game. Right. And I was like, come on, like, do we really need this? But last night we really could have used the diff on the scoreboard because, you had to do some real math to try and figure out how much exactly the Kings were down by. And it's really disappointing that they lost in that fashion. And, we heard, or I heard Whitey and Drapes talking yesterday on the way into the arena. I know Whitey doesn't put these things lightly, and I'd love to ask him about it later today. But, he said he'd be hard pressed to find a regular season basketball game for this organization that was bigger than the one last night going into it.
Yeah, he said that.
The fact that they kind of laid an egg like they did, I mean, they held on for that first half, and by the end of that third quarter, I mean, that thing was completely over. So we're going to talk about it a lot, but man, that's just not how you want to exit one of your, if not the biggest game that you've had this season. Not great to exit it losing by 36 at home.
Is it something that could be optioned though, in that because of this, now Friday will be essentially the biggest regular season game?
I mean, in my opinion, I've let it. I feel like you had to win both of these.
Okay.
So I think Fridays, it still might be it still is a big game, but it's not as big as what it could have been. Yeah, the tiebreaker's still big. It still is. They still. It's much better to have that tiebreaker than to not have it. But in terms of the significance of what it would mean to go 4-0 and then create that 2 games of separation, this game to bring it back even, and then overall, you still probably give Dallas like the 55 to 60% advantage over the Kings the rest of the way just because of their strength of schedule. It just kind of feels like it's a little bit dampened, but it still is a big game. I mean, the Kings absolutely, if anything, from just the Kings side of things, it's a really big game because you have to right that wrong on Tuesday. You can't have a performance again like you did the other night. You've got to come out and look like a completely different team. You got to look like the team that you've looked the 10 games previous to last night, because the last thing you want to do is let this thing start to snowball. And now this is, feeling bad heading into a very brutal stretch of your schedule.
I'm terribly, terribly torn about this game because I will say this, and we have the De'Aaron sound. Yes, as he was asked about being at the podium and the things he had to say. We have plenty of sound from last night, but I am torn because they all stood on business last night. The Kings did in the postgame. They didn't make any excuses. We'll talk about the 5 games in 7 nights. We'll talk about all that. And as they discussed the defense and the breakdowns that happened, and we did this on the show yesterday as the Mavericks were shooting 32% over their last 10 games. At the same time, I know we hate to fence it, but were their rotations a little bit slow? The Kings, yes. But when the others, for the Mavericks to shoot 32%, this ain't the first game that these dudes had open shots. This is not the first game Derrick Jones Jr. had open. This is what every team wants to do, right? This isn't the first game Derrick Jones Jr. had open shots. It's not the first game PJ Washington had open shots. It's not the first game Tim Hardaway Jr., maybe to a lesser degree, Tim Hardaway Jr. had open shots. Dante Exum. I will say their defense wasn't great, but the Mavericks shot 56%. That's insane. Yeah. Okay, Kyrie Irving, 4 for 9 from 3. All right, you'll have to live with it. Luka, 4 for 8 from 3. But this is what's crazy. How much of this is bad defense or just, I hate to say bad luck, but PJ Washington, 4 for 6 from 3. Derrick Jones Jr., 2 for 4 from 3. Morris, who just waltzed into the game, 1 for 1. Tim Hardaway Jr., 4 for 6. Dante Exum, 2 for 3. Hardy, 1 for 2.
Yeah.
There is a part of this, and I don't want to let them off the hook.
No, but
maybe you still lose.
No, you're right, though.
And but it doesn't look like this.
Exactly. Dallas shot their highest percentage, their most efficient three-point shooting performance of the season by far. Their previous high was 54% earlier this year against Atlanta. They shot 51% one other time against San Antonio. And they hit their second most threes that they've hit in a game all year. They shot the lights out. And we've talked about it before. I mean, sometimes, Kings get tons of open looks too. Yesterday, a little bit. HB definitely missed some open ones. Keegan definitely missed some open ones yesterday. But we've talked about it. Like, it's one thing to get open looks. It's a whole nother thing to actually hit those open looks. And yesterday, everything was clicking for Dallas. And, more power to them. Absolutely. Again, both teams knew how big of a game yesterday was.
Yeah.
Dallas showed up with their A+ game. Kings did not. So you gotta take your hat off. Give Dallas a round of applause for how they stepped up in that moment, really. And the Kings absolutely did not. But you're right. Like, Dallas isn't going to shoot 56% on Friday. I can almost guarantee that. I think the Kings did get a bit unlucky, but absolutely, they still put themselves in that situation too. Mike Brown, even in the pregame, yet again reiterated, I have been talking the basic fundamentals with this defense here. They didn't do it last night. Their closeouts weren't as sharp. It's fine. I said it on the postgame yesterday. They played 10 games in a row of the best basketball we have seen them play all year long on the defensive side. Last night was a slip-up. Those things happen. Again, for a team that hadn't played consistently anything. They hadn't played consistent offense, consistent defense. They hadn't looked a consistent way all year long. The most consistent they looked were these last 10 games on defense. It's okay for them to have one slip-up as long as they return to it again on Friday.
Right.
It's just incredibly unfortunate that slip-up happened again in probably your most important game of the season. Worst time. The worst possible time.
They have had a pattern, right? And I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, where they win two games and they lose, or they lose a game and then they win 2.
Yep.
Then they lose a game and then they win 2. The good thing is everyone says, I feel good about Friday. Okay, that's fine.
I feel better about Friday.
I feel better about Friday, but with that pattern, I don't know if you get the 6. I still don't know if that's good enough to get the 6 seed.
No, I don't think so.
Now, because of when you got this loss. So, okay, win or loss, win. Okay, so they will win 2 games after this. They beat the Mavericks. They beat whoever they have after the Mavericks, and then they lose one. Not to say that the Mavericks are going to go undefeated here, but next game is the most important.
Yeah,
but it does kind of, again, bring you back to reality. And as the TNT crew actually gave love to the Kings, I almost feel like it's just the kiss of death.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the Kings to be talked about nationally, but whenever they do, they do not get it done. I'm looking here, Chris. This is the first game that the Kings played against the Mavericks because Kyrie and a couple of other guys didn't play in that first game. And you had Grant Williams. They shot 35% from three, and the Kings beat them 129-113. Here is what's interesting compared to the last game. So last night you had Luka 4 for 8 from three, Kyrie 4 for 9 for three, right? That first game, Kyrie was 2 for 6, Luka was 3 for 7. So essentially the same thing as far as their 3-point shooting, but the other guys in that game, Grant Williams 1 for 4, Derrick Jones Jr. 1 for 2, Morris 0 for 2, Tim Hardaway Jr. 2 for 4, Prosper 0 for 1, Josh Green, who didn't even play, 2 for 5. Dante Exum, 0 for 1. They shot 35%. So I hate to, and we know the Kings weren't playing better defense at that point in time. So how much of that is the Kings getting unlucky? How much of that is the Kings not showing up?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both. When we return, we got Frank Facts to break it all down. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Keep it here to Sactown Sports for the Sacramento Kings push toward the postseason.
Get analysis from our local shows, breakdowns from our Kings insiders, and all the thrilling moments from the G-Man.
Keegan Murray scrambles to save it. He gives it now to Barnes. 1 on the clock. Desperate 3 on the way. He scores the triple. Game tied at 121 apiece. 17 for Barnes.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Join Chris Watkins and the Sactown Sports Street Team this Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Fieldhouse American Sports Pub for some basketball madness and their mouth-watering full menu, 1310 Fulton Avenue. See you there.
Create this. I won't say who will, but it was Malik Monk last night because he hasn't been able to kind of get going really any from 3-point land. He's turning the ball over. So Malik has to do his part.
Yes.
We've been spoiled with how Malik has played all season, and he's been hot all season. So that happens in the first quarter. Everybody's into it. The lyrics are playing. Oh, this is a new thing that we're doing. Coming in, down 20. What was that, the third quarter?
I think it was the third.
And I think we were all just, wait, did they just play that?
Did they just do the thing? Yeah.
And then they did it again, and you could tell it was a bit half-hearted, and I get it, right? It's like as baseball's about to start, how a lot of these teams have home run celebrations. Doing the celebration down 10-1,
right?
It's kind of corny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not going to do it with the same life.
Right.
By the way, it wasn't just a Malik. That was and I know I saw Carmichael Dave tweet about this. That was the saddest Keegan Murray.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to do it.
Keegan Murray. He's just like, I'm gonna do it this time.
Nobody wanted to do it. So that's all I'll say about the Malik Monk. We got it out there. Sack chat.
It's now officially grassroots.
This is how you build.
And we're just providing feedback right now.
We're just providing feedback.
Yes.
If we want this to be what we had hoped for, everybody's got to do their part.
Yep.
Malik has to do their part.
Get the word out there, you guys.
The fans got to do their part. Everybody's got to do their part to make this thing really take off, because I don't think anybody knew what was supposed to be done there.
Yeah. No, I think they have to your point, like Malik needs to do something early in the game too, so that it's established. And then later in the game, when he does something, it's like you're almost waiting for it to happen. Because we actually got it on a great moment.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it was off the lob, right?
It was off the lob.
Yeah.
It was off the lob.
Like, it was an exciting enough play.
Behind the head dunk, I believe. And it just, at that point, it was kind of cooked.
How about that Keegan steal, and then like he just kind of threw it in the air for Malik to get it too?
Right.
That was a nice little play from Malik. But yeah,
I think they played it for that too.
Did it really? I know because they played it twice. I couldn't remember.
Well, it wasn't on a three.
Definitely,
I can tell you that much. So hey, we got to keep pushing. We got to keep moving, and Malik will get out of his funk. But first, we got Frank Facts.
That's right, and of course, as we plug every time, you can read Frank Cardicelli. You can read his post-game articles, his post-game recaps every single game after the Kings complete their wins, hopefully, but they're after losses as well. And sometimes, you need to read articles like Frankie's just to kind of make you feel better, or at least try and get a better understanding of what happened. And that's exactly what this first number is detailing. Frankie puts in his article, while the Kings might have been playing its fifth game in 7 nights, still not quite an excuse for the effort we saw last night, but still 5 games in 7 nights, Alan. It's not something we talked about. I didn't hear a lot of people really mention it, but once we stepped into the arena, I was telling you, G-Man was really big on this. As we all tend to do when we get into the game, just ask everyone, hey, how you feeling about tonight? How you feeling about tonight? G-Man's answer was, well, it is 5 games in 7 nights, and I'm not really hearing a lot of people talk about that. And then when you see how that result played out, both teams were on back-to-backs, so that's not really a valid excuse. But when you hear that the Kings had played that many games in that short of a time frame, that's really tough. And, that you could argue that's a bit of an excuse, but still 5 and 7 nights is a ton of games and a lot of wear for you to be playing at such a high level. Last night, Dallas entered play having shot 30% from deep over their past 6 games. And again, Dallas last night absolutely shoots the lights out. They shoot 22 of 39 for 56%. So definitely, Alan, as I was reading numbers yesterday on Dallas's last 3 games and last 10 games, you were like, I don't want to hear any of that.
I didn't.
Because that makes me feel like they are due. And that's exactly what happened. Dallas was due yesterday. And, they really they just shot through the ceiling on that one. That was absolutely ridiculous. Luka, who gave the Kings fits, scored 26 points in the first half. However, the MVP candidate scored just 2 the remainder of the game. Sounds good, right? Sounds like the Kings locked up. Well, here's the problem. Kyrie Irving took over in that second half. Irving had 18 points and put the nail in the coffin for Sacramento, who allowed 120 points for the first time in their last 10 games. The Kings' 36-point loss last night was tied for their most lopsided defeat of the season. The one previous, well, that was the November 20th game against the New Orleans Pelicans, and it happened last night in front of a national TV audience on TNT, which, from being in the arena, it really hasn't quite set in for me that happened in front of the entire nation, that everybody was probably hyped leading into that game, saying, oh my gosh, both these teams tied in the standings. This is going to be a crazy game in Sacramento. The atmosphere is going to be nuts. And again, it was a good first half, but really by the mid-third quarter, if I'm a casual observer, if I don't care about either of those teams, I'm cutting that game off real quick.
What was the score at halftime?
I believe it was 51-56. I can double check that.
Because it felt
was
worse.
53-58.
It felt much worse than that.
It did. No, it felt really bad. I had in my notes last night, I was like, Kings have no answer for Luka. Kings not getting any stops, but they're holding on. Mm-hmm. And then by the mid-third quarter, I was like, this game is over. Kings continue to not get stops and go cold. Another rough night for Malik Monk. Kings holding on by a thread. And then that thread got snapped real quick. Two more for you, Frankie facts. For the first time since January 7th, no member of the Kings offense finished with 20 points. De'Aaron was last night's leading scorer with 19. This is only the sixth time that has happened all season. And you're right out there for guessing. The Sacramento Kings are 0-6 this season when they have not a single player finish above 20 points in a game. And here's the last number. I think you actually prompted Frank to look this one up.
Yes, this is a collab.
Yeah, this is a Frankie X Stiles collab here. The Kings are 7-24 when trailing at the half.
It's not a good collab.
Not a good
result from the collab. That's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It feels like
and they have a ridiculous record when they win when they're winning after three quarters.
Right,
well.
when they're winning after three quarters, it completely flips.
I think they're like 34-5 or something.
Yeah, they are 38-5 when leading going into the fourth.
Wow.
The problem is that third quarter. It feels like they've been terrible in third quarters all season long. And it feels like what we've done with Kyle Shanahan and trailing in the fourth quarter, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually pretty bad. I mean, 7-24 when trailing at the half means that if you don't have it, you don't have it.
And you're not going to get it.
And you're not going to get it.
It also, for all those get Brown out of town people, that's a number I would use to show – hey, maybe they're not making adjustments at halftime here. Maybe they are, I won't say a one-trick pony, but maybe it is just kind of, we are what we are, and if you can figure it out, then you probably figured it out. And if you can't figure it out, then, then you're probably not going to figure us out. So it is a pretty strange number because, again, usually, especially, those Warrior teams back in the day, they used to pride themselves on those third quarters. The third quarter was really what started those games. It was if you could survive the third, you were going to be in pretty good, have a pretty good chance. That number right there is showing, like you said, I mean, if the Kings haven't figured it out by halftime, they're probably not going to figure it out. 7-24 is crazy.
Coming up next, we will hear from the team post-game. We got Mike Brown sound. We got De'Aaron Fox sound. Yes, we do. And we will discuss Luka Doncic and how he was out of his mind last night. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
Hey guys, do you know your T level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Revive's customized ED treatments can provide immediate results, restore blood flow naturally, and even bring spontaneity back into your love life. With both in-person and telemedicine appointments available, plus free shipping directly to you, Revive takes the hassle out of treating low T and ED. Having an optimal testosterone level can change your whole life, and it starts with knowing your T level. Take that first step and book your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation, and kickstart your treatment with a free supply of ED medication this month only. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566, or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The weather's warming up, spring is here, and so is road trip season. And if you're saying, yeah, sure, I would love to load everything up in my car and hit the road and go on a long road trip, but I don't trust my car. It's not dependable. Well, then go see my friends at Elk Grove Kia. They'll get you into something dependable and super affordable, like a brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS for $19,988. Yep, at a time when the average new car price is over $48,000, Elk Grove Kia can get you into a brand new car for less than half of that. And this car's loaded with automatic transmission, an 8-inch touchscreen with rear camera. It's got advanced driver assistance system, so it's got tech and safety. And again, this brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS can be yours for only $19,988. Only at the #1 Sacramento Kia dealer, Elk Grove Kia, in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, and online at elkgrovekia.com. Elk Grove Kia sale price, $20,738. Kia rebate, $750. Net price, $19,988. One at this price. Stock number GK9219. Expires March 31st, 2024.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Elevate your golf game at Timber Creek Golf Course in Roseville. Just named to the prestigious Golfer's Choice 2024 Top 25 Public Golf Courses in all of California by Golf Pass, Timber Creek offers an unparalleled experience. Our revamped practice facility features a grass driving range, expanded putting greens, and a chipping area complete with sand traps. Whether you're a pro or just starting your golf journey, Timber Creek is the place to be. Visit us and discover why we're the talk of Sacramento and beyond. Unwind and tee off at Timber Creek Golf Course.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
That defense that we talked so much about just didn't seem to have it last night. Ellis Island was not as locked down. You were able to swim off. You were able to do a lot of different things last night. It's Kyrie Irving. And I think last night was a reminder, and I am not a Kyrie Irving fan for a multitude of reasons. But last night was a reminder that there are levels to this. And when you see a guy like Keon Ellis, who has locked up Dame Lillard, and he did his best against a Jalen Brunson, a lot of screen actions, things like that. But he's locked up some of these guys. Then you get Kyrie in town, and you see Keon get put on skates like this was roll bounce 2 multiple times. I hadn't seen Kyrie play live in a while, and it was just a reminder, wow, this dude is crazy. Oh, crazy.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I want to push back a little bit there because Keon, like, let's not forget, he's still really young in his career.
But that's all I'm saying, though. I'm just saying there's levels. We're saying lockdown. He's a lockdown guy, and Kyrie comes to town, and Keon still. There's still room to get there.
For sure.
There's nobody in the league that can lock down Kyrie.
Yeah.
But we talked about it being a matchup we were excited to see.
For sure.
And it just put things in perspective.
I mean, that's exactly what I expected out of Keon, though. Like, I didn't expect Keon to have, like, what he had against Dame and all those things. Like, Kyrie is a special player. I think that, if anything, like, I thought it was great that Kyrie gave Keon that respect. I thought there was a couple moments where Kyrie sized him up and was like, whoa, this dude is not biting on things that normally people bite on. And I think Kyrie really did, in a weird way. Like, I think Kyrie giving him buckets was his biggest sign of respect. Like, I've seen Kyrie play a couple different times, and, you know, you'll get varying degrees of his, his ball handling and him having special moves. Felt like yesterday he was really like, I'm going to throw everything at this
Welcome
kid.
to the league type deal.
I don't think it was welcome to the league. I think it was, wow, this dude legitimately is a test for me, and I'm going to give him a real legitimate look. I'm not just going to give him, the okey doke that I give normal people. Like, I'm going to give him some real advanced jab steps and see how he reacts to it. For the most part, I thought Keon did fine, but he absolutely got cooked a couple times. But
they ran some screens at him too.
To me, that game was so big for Keon because, much like the Kings' performance in general, I just don't think that's going to happen again. Like, I think that's a big game for Keon because he sees, right in front of him, okay, this is what that top level you're talking about, the levels to this. Kyrie is it. And, like, I could see Keon kind of picking up some things along the way, seeing how Kyrie was moving.
It ended up in a jump ball.
That's right. Yeah, he did. He stripped Kyrie, which I think was the moment where Kyrie was like, oh, this guy's different. You kind of saw him jawing back and forth before they did that jump ball. I think Kyrie was kind of telling him, like, I assume he was trash talking, but in a weird way, saying, showing him respect in that manner too. I actually didn't mind it. I think Keon, and I'm just hoping that Friday looks a lot better, but I think that they all learned a great deal yesterday. And I think Keon is definitely the biggest example of that.
And it's not just about Keon. It's tough to contain Kyrie on the defensive end, but Keon, the other thing is, not only am I trying to lock down Kyrie, which he did the best that he could, he had 10 points, and he premiered some different shots we hadn't seen him make before, right? He had a couple middies, and he had a nice layup as well, and he still had the 3-ball going. So all in all, for the Keon experience, we can take that, right? The problem is just the end result. Luka was the issue. We haven't even got to Luka, and there's plenty to get to with Chris's boy, Luka Doncic. Let's get to TC on the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. What's up, TC? Rough one last night. What you got for us?
Man, that was a rough one. Alan and Chris, what's up, though?
What's good, man?
Trying to stay up.
Hey, check it out, though, man. You know what? It was a rough one, man, but the band would be all right. I'm with you, Chris. Hey, Alan, that's what I've been talking about with Domas. I heard you last night, Chris, what you were talking about with the 1,000 pump fakes. Everybody thought I was crazy when I was saying that. Sabonis, put the ball up, bro.
Yeah.
I don't care about all these double-doubles you're getting. That's fine and dandy, bro, but you have to shoot the ball. You have to dominate the ball. When the shot's not falling, give me the ball in the post. That's what this team has to figure out, bro. We need Domas to be more dominant down the stretch, whether it's called for or not. De'Aaron, watch your shots. Watch your shots, bro. Shooting 3-pointers when we don't need them.
Yeah.
Also, find a hot hand. So when Keon has it going, right, and when Keon and Keegan has it going, feed them. This has nothing to do with that they have to find their own shots. No, the team should find them, bro. We should know. Mike, call a timeout. Hey, y'all, look, check it out. So-and-so has a hot hand. Find him. Draw plays up for him. Get him the ball. Get these guys the ball. I don't care about if this guy doesn't have it. We still have to give it to Fox and Domas and all that. No, bro. Find a hot hand, big dog. That's what we need to do as a team. I promise you we'll be better off.
Thanks for the call, TC. But I will say this, Chris, and you've been in the pregame and some of the postgame pressers. When you're not doing your postgame on YouTube, be sure to holler at Chris and check him out for his YouTube postgames at SactownSports.com and also on the YouTube channel, of course. They're not going to do that, though. Mike Brown, it's all about the flow offense. Mm-hmm. They ask about Keegan. Everybody in the media asks about when Keegan gets hot or whatever. Hey, yeah, he puts it on the team and he puts it on the players to be more assertive. Yeah. He is not going to sit, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe things will change in the playoffs. But from what I've seen and what I've heard, he is not going to sit in there. When HB has a hot night, we all sit in there, the media, we sit in there. What's the first question? Hey, Mike, looked like Harrison Barnes got going there. Was there a concerted effort after the last couple games as he was pretty quiet? No.
Game just kind of found him today.
Yeah, HB's going to get shots and he's going to hit them. It's the same thing every single time. That's just what it's been.
And to build on that, my biggest gripe, let me see how many minutes we have left in the segment, because I truly, Alan, I was beside myself yesterday, and this is the most that I feel like I'm on the record here saying I for the most part do not question this coaching staff. I think they do a great job. Alan, I cannot find a logical reason why the Sacramento Kings did not just attack Luka Doncic on the defensive end yesterday. Not only is it something that quite literally every NBA team does, if you look at the defensive matchup against Luka for, 90% of his games, he's getting attacked at least 15 to 20 times a game. Last night, the Kings were 4 of 10 when going against Luka Doncic. Luka defended, held his opponents to 40% from the field, which is pretty good for Luka, actually. That's like he was on the injury report for an Achilles injury. We saw him limping in the first quarter. He played 41 minutes the night before, and he's already a terrible defender. I don't get it. I don't understand how you don't just look at that matchup and say, this guy cannot stop us. Offensively, we know he's going to be a problem. If anything, it should already be the game plan. We want this guy running as much as possible on the defensive end, because we know on offense, he's going to walk it down. He's going to back people up. He's going to try and slow the game down. You want him to be as tired as possible and actually force him to play defense, just like you would James Harden or Trae Young or someone like that. I don't understand why last night they don't just go at Luka every single time. And I'll answer my own question. It's because Keegan was being guarded by him. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Dallas said, who's the guy on this floor that we just really don't think is going to attack this mismatch? It's Keegan Murray, who we've talked about here this past couple weeks. He just doesn't look across the floor and see, I could take this mismatch. Oh, this is the best option for the team right now, is for me to go at this guy. I could not wrap my mind around how you don't attack quite literally one of the worst defenders in the NBA. Made no sense.
Well, they were hiding him too. They were hiding him on the baseline.
Hide him if you force to what you were just saying about them forcing those mismatches. You have to attack that. This is playoff basketball. This is a 2-game series where you're playing for your playoff life. You're playing spot. You've got to do everything you can to win those games. Doesn't matter game plans, like long-term. You just are trying to win that night. To me, the best course of action to win on a single night against Dallas, attack Luka on defense.
They were hiding him on the baseline, some of it. And when we return, we will talk about who else was not able to take advantage of Luka's lackluster defense. We'll also hear from Mike Brown and De'Aaron Fox. Doug, we see you on the line. We'll get to you if you want to be a part of the conversation. 916-339-1140. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sactown Sports.
Oh, my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
timeshare trap and think there's no way out? Well, Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has helped over 35,000 families out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares, and they may be able to help you too. If you were misled into signing a timeshare agreement that is a lifetime commitment, if you were told timeshare is a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, you need to get the facts about timeshare cancellation. For over 10 years, Wesley Financial Group has been dedicated to helping folks get out of a lifetime of debt by canceling their timeshares. So they created a timeshare exit information kit, which reveals how the timeshare industry works and what your options are for cancellation. Simply call Wesley right now, and they will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free. See how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. Again, 800-761-0000.
Paid for by government.com. Here's your chance to get 5 iconic United States silver dollars spanning the last 150 years in one amazing set. Experts agree this is a must-have for silver coin buyers. That's right, all 5 silver dollars are legal tender official United States mint coins. If you call 1-800-973-3098 right now, we'll send you this ultimate 5-piece American silver dollar set with each silver coin in extremely fine or brilliant uncirculated condition. Guaranteed. This set includes every type of U.S. silver dollars in American history, issued from 1878 to 2024. Call 1-800-973-3098 now to secure your 150 years of U.S. silver dollars 5-piece set. Plus, receive a bonus display case, an information booklet, and free shipping. Don't miss your chance. Call 1-800-973-3098 now to secure your 5-piece set of iconic U.S. silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-3098.
What's going on? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Ram Truck Month?
Right now, save up to $16,500 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 2500 Laramies. One of the nicest, most capable trucks you can buy with the biggest savings of the year. This is huge, and we have over 200 available.
Okay, so why choose Hoblet?
We do things a little different here at Hoblet. We're here to help you find the vehicle you need at the best possible price. That's why we don't have a bunch of dealer markups, surprise add-ons, or hidden fees. And we've become California's #1 new Ram truck dealer. At Hoblet, you'll get the small town experience with the big city savings and selection.
If you're looking for a truck, Hoblet should be your first and only stop. See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$16,500 total net savings after $10,500 factory rebates and $6,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $1,000 case construction rebate. Must have purchased qualifying new case equipment from an authorized case dealer and $500 first responder bonus cash. Must be a member of qualifying first responder association. 10 at this net savings. See dealer for details.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. All Naturewood Amish furniture is on sale right now for a limited time. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
From the 916, I can see credence and valid points like 5 games in 7 nights, and the Mavs shooting well above their average and being hot. But this was a 36-point thumping at home in a very meaningful game. Hard for me to chalk it up personally.
Just real quick on that, though. Like, if you just say, and this is a bit extreme because you are taking a good portion of their points away, but if you just look at it as Dallas had 11 more three-pointers made than the Kings, that's 33 points right there. So maybe if Dallas hits 15 threes instead of 22, maybe if they hit 13, just a more regular number that you'll see, the game might not look so bad. And so, like, you know, again, I think that's a bit wishful thinking. Again, you can't really just take away 11 threes from a team and say, yeah, if you didn't hit those 11 threes, then you don't win the game. That's a bit much. But, you know, if you're just looking to try and make yourself feel a little bit better after last night, again, Dallas probably is never going to shoot that well again. And, you know, the loss definitely looked worse than what it probably was because Dallas just shot the absolute lights out.
Yeah, and there was just no breathing room. Every time the Kings tried to get a run, you cannot go on a run if the other team doesn't miss. That's exactly what happened.
Right.
There was 1 3 in particular. I believe it was in the third quarter when things started to get out of hand. And you know what Kyrie's going to do. You know what Luka's going to do. But for me, there was a kick out to Derek Jones Jr. in the corner. And you could just hear the air get let out of the building when he hit that 3. Because at that point, it was, all right, man, this is what we're doing. Everybody is there's just nobody is going to miss today. That's how it felt. It felt like nobody was going to miss for the Mavs. And for the most part, they did it. They just did it. And he literally averages 8.8 points. He had 8 points last night, Derek Jones Jr. did. And it was just enough. He's been shooting 30% from three-point range. He was 2 for 4 last night. And I get it. Small sample size. He's 35% from 3 on the season. And every single time the Kings tried to get on a run, there was just no breathing room.
No.
There was just no breathing room. And the one thing I will say, Chris, as you were kind of coming down Keegan's road with the Luka stuff, what I saw a lot of Luka just rover back and forth at the bottom of the baseline. And who I saw Luka on a decent bit, I know they were setting screens, was Keon and HB. And very similar to how LeBron was hiding on HB,
right,
and HB was hitting that night. HB, and he only took 4 threes. HB was cold.
Yeah.
So they did a good job. And it was almost a hybrid zone. And they would, every time Luka got screened, he would just hand the person off. And we'll get to Derek Lively. He shut down the paint.
Mm-hmm.
There were no spray threes. So they did a really good job, the Mavs did, in hiding Luka. They didn't put him, and maybe I don't know how much is on the Kings versus a good game plan by the Mavs. I will say this, and you have the numbers. Luka, they aren't good at hiding Luka, but for some odd reason, they were good at hiding him last night. Maybe there was an added emphasis because they knew he wasn't healthy. But I was watching, and we're all saying the same thing, but there weren't a lot of opportunities that I saw where it was a screen out, Luka's by himself, Keegan get busy. Luka did a great job of just handing him off, and they weren't hitting shots.
Yeah.
And they did not have the personnel, I guess, to make them pay the same way the Mavs were making the Kings pay.
Yeah, I think that's more, and I was talking to Brendan about it last night, like when the Kings offense isn't moving, or isn't moving as part of it, but like isn't clicking on all cylinders, that's when the dribble handoff stuff looks really simple. It's just like it's too repetitive.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like you don't have a counter. You don't have hey, the DHO stuff isn't working.
Where's the split
Maybe
action?
we just go to just more pick and roll in general, like, because that's how you, like, yeah, it's going to be tough to try and exploit a matchup when you're in that equal opportunity flow offense. You can't really, unless you're going to get Luka into the handoff and then run a pick and roll off of the handoff.
Get him on De'Aaron, I guess.
Like, you have to switch up your mindset. You got to switch up the game plan. You've got to run just more pick and rolls in general. We saw them do it really early, like in the middle of the season. They just went to pick and roll. I think it was against Minnesota in the middle of the year, where they just ran pick and roll after pick and roll after pick and roll until they stopped it, and they just never did. That's exactly what I would have done with Luka. Just get him in as many actions as possible. And I looked more into the numbers. In January, Luka averaged 17.7 defensive field goal attempts per game. In February, 17.4 field goal attempts per game. It's down a bit in the month of March. Maybe Luka's playing better defense. It's down to 14.1 per game in the month of March. But for the entire season, it's at 15.6. So again, the fact that the Kings have 5 less field goal attempts against Luka, pretty much 33% less attempts than what teams normally have against him. Mm-hmm. I just don't see how that happens. Like, I think that's, especially again in a playoff type game, in a gotta have it kind of environment, the fact that you don't just go at the guy who is their biggest weak point on defense just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and that's what TC was saying, our caller from earlier. And that is not what we have been seeing. And that goes to, if this is, and Mike Brown said, hey, it's not a playoff game, it's a little bit different. They have today off, which is another reason you can tell that it's not a playoff game. But ultimately, that is the question. Huge showdown on Friday. Huge. What adjustments will you make? 916-339-1140. Let's go to Doug, who's been hanging on. Alan, we see you as well. What's up, Doug? What you got for us?
Gentlemen, good morning. First, I'd like to start first. You guys talking about how guys go by us, and it happens in every team throughout the league. That some teams just are able to go in and drive the ball and get to the cup easy and stuff, and that's fine. But foot speed is something that is very valuable on that defensive end. And another thing that we do, we are in an upright position to be able to contest a three, but we're not in a down position to be able to go in and stay in front of the offense better. So you're picking your poison from the beginning. Oh, am I going to defend the three on my closeout, or I'm going to let you kind of go by me? Then we come over and help. Then they kick to the corner or wherever it is, and then they hit a three.
Exactly.
So that's kind of where we are there. But I'm going to start at the very top, though. By Monty not making any moves, I'm going to say first that the teams have exceeded my expectation, but you've got to get guys who can then compete at the level of the rest of the league. Dallas went in, who'd they go get? Gabbert, whatever his name is, and P.J. Washington. Those are two very good players. We're not spending the money to go get the guys to get us to be more competitive. That's all I have. Have a great show. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for the call, Doug. Yeah, that's always tough because, look, we didn't get, and we love Doug, one of our good callers. Incredible. But we didn't talk about this the last couple weeks. Well, maybe not the last couple weeks. The last couple games as the Kings were rounding into form. It was all about Keon Ellis and wow, look at what the G League is bringing and look at what they're able to do. So it's not that I disagree with Doug. There's just nothing that we can do with that right now.
You're talking about the closeout stuff, or
no? I'm talking about the Monty McNair not making a move stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, there's not much we can do about that now. I agree with that. Yeah, you're right. Like,
it's not that we disagree.
Yeah, it's just we're past that point now. Yeah, I mean it is. It's you're right. It is a valid point that this is probably exactly what you should have addressed at the deadline, is getting how many times we talk about the Royce O'Neals, the Dorian Finney-Smiths, all those defensive minded wings. That's exactly the kind of guy you would have thrown on Luka last night. That's the kind of guy that you just don't have. The Pelicans games, the Clippers games, we're going to probably run into that same issue over and over again, probably against the Celtics as well. We're probably going to run into that issue again. So you're right. You're not wrong, Doug, at all, but there's nothing we can do about it now. We've got the personnel we've got, and these are the guys that we're going to go to war with. And that's what Mike Brown said too. He said, we didn't make any moves at the deadline, so I had to look at this roster and say, we've got to find it from within. And if we're not going to find it from within, then we're just going to get smoked all year. And I think you put it this way yesterday. That's how Keon Ellis emerges. And, it's been a good patchwork. But I think here recently, really since the Washington game, when we first asked, what is Keon's range. I think we're just finding Keon Ellis cannot guard 1 through 5s and cannot guard all different shapes and sizes. No pun intended with Luka. And it's just, it's the learning curve. But he's the best they've got, but they don't have much else.
Yeah, they do not have somebody for those wings. And we knew that, and we thought maybe Keon would be enough. Not enough at the moment. Alan, we see you on the line. We will get to you right after the break. When we return, continuing the conversation of what went wrong last night, we hear from Mike Brown and his thoughts, also from De'Aaron Fox. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Dirty Heads, live in concert.
Every single day.
Friday, April 12th, 7:30 p.m. The venue at Thunder Valley.
Say I'm crazy, but I have a
special guest, The Elevators.
to me so far.
On sale at ThunderValleyResort.com.
Excuse me, I've been so low, I've been weak.
Don't miss Dirty Heads Live.
Rescue me.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Setting the clocks forward, daylight saving time, it makes you feel like there are a few more hours in the day. But let's face it, when you're hiring, that doesn't necessarily help you find qualified candidates for those roles any sooner. Let's get real. There's really only one way to do that, and that's ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bob. How does it work? You post your job on ZipRecruiter, they send it to 100+ job sites. You reach more of the right people right now. Spring forward with a new hiring partner, ZipRecruiter, and find top talent sooner. See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Just go to this exclusive web address to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/Bob. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/Bob. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hey guys, do you know your T level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Revive's customized ED treatments can provide immediate results, restore blood flow naturally, and even bring spontaneity back into your love life. With both in-person and telemedicine appointments available, plus free shipping directly to you, Revive takes the hassle out of treating low T and ED. Having an optimal testosterone level can change your whole life, and it starts with knowing your T level. Take that first step and book your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation, and kickstart your treatment with a free supply of ED medication this month only. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566, or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, what's up, Sacramento? It's Kyle Draper. Turn up the cleanliness at your restaurant, healthcare, or industrial business with Alsco Uniforms, the official sponsor of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew. We've got you covered with crisp uniforms, hygienically clean linens, floor mats, and of course, mops delivered weekly. But that's not all. Alsco Uniforms also offers weekly services for first aid and restroom supplies. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Just go to alsco.com to learn more. Again, that's ALSCO.com.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kip Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kip Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Podium Fiber, Dawson Oil Company, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling.
Get in on the action at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. With over 80 table games, more than 2,100 slot machines, and a thrilling high-limit room, you'll enjoy a casino experience on a whole new level. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Phone lines off the hook right now. We will hear from Mike Brown as well and De'Aaron Fox. But first, been patiently waiting. Let's get to Alan. Wants to be part of the conversation, 916-339-1140. What's up, Alan? What you got for us?
Good morning, Alan.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, shout out to Simone, with all apologies to Nate as a stellar producer. And Chris, I saw you on your video. What do we call that? A video podcast?
Yeah, the postgame live stream.
Yeah, so the beauty of that show, I thought for the first time, the beauty of that show is on a Friday game, we're not going to hear any analysis from you guys, right? But when you go on, you get the whole scoop. So it's pretty awesome. So for anyone who hasn't tuned in, that's a great little gig.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And about the game, this is coming from an eternal optimist. We got Dallas right where we want them. They think the next game is going to be a cakewalk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really shocked with the defense that Dallas played. I don't know what Jason Kidd did to them, but I've never seen that team play defense like that. And Chris, if you could just pass on your tips about going at Luka to the team, that would be a great thing. Anyway, I predict we win this next game, and people are going to think I'm crazy, but the Kings are going to be fired up. We're going to have Mad Fox.
Yeah.
And if they just play that Malik song, a few times, great idea. I love that. So anyway, have a great day, you guys.
Thanks for the call, Alan. I will say this. If we're being realistic, and Alan called himself optimistic, if we're being realistic, we really thought they were going to beat the Mavs twice. Like, did we actually think that this team, the 2024 Kings, with who they've been the whole season, was going to say, you know what? We're on a roll now. We finally figured it out. Chris and I don't even do did they turn the corner questions and segments anymore because they never seem to do so. Did we truly think they were going to beat the Mavs twice and do what they were supposed to do when they have not done that all season long?
I definitely did. I did. We had a conversation about them turning the corner defensively yesterday. I definitely thought that this team was finally over the just over the hump of inconsistency. I'm still holding out hope that, this thing is not going to completely snowball down the rest of the way. I still am, at least until Friday, I'm going to say that this is hopefully a one-game blip. I have to believe that defense was legit and they're not just going to completely forget about it after one game. I honestly did have faith that they were going to win both of these games. I thought that they were a better team than Dallas. I thought they were better coached than Dallas. And I would say yesterday, both of those things were just not true. They were not. Jason Kidd was absolutely the better coach, had the better game plan, and the players definitely executed a whole lot better than the Kings did yesterday.
Yeah.
It sounds like you didn't.
Well, I guess I would say I'm not surprised.
I'm definitely not surprised.
Yeah, I don't think anybody
thought they were going to.
I think optimistically, we've said the Kings, if they're going to turn this thing around, they're running out of time. And they could be playing their best ball at the perfect time, and literally the season's almost over. So in that regard, yeah, it would have been nice. But as far as what happened last night, maybe not 36 points, but this is who they've been all season
we've seen
long.
This movie, yeah.
This is exactly who they've been all season long. Let's hear from Mike Brown, who had some things to say in the postgame and whether or not he was surprised on how things played out.
Our spacing wasn't good. Our pace in the half court wasn't good. Our cutting wasn't good. But the biggest thing is we just would not spray the basketball to save our lives. And to have 4 sprays against a pretty good defensive team like that is not good enough. We were 1 for 4 in sprays. And by the time we took our starters out, I think we had a total of 24 threes. And a lot of that had to do because we weren't spraying the basketball. So we obviously weren't good defensively. Luka and Kyrie, they're great players, and they had a lot to do with it. But offensively, watching us play tonight, I'm a little surprised how we played.
So Mike Brown is more concerned about the offense than the defense, even.
Yeah, I think he thought they could.
Yeah,
but he does say that they're a good defense, which I don't know if he's.
Yeah,
they have been they've been playing. I think both these teams, like you said, have been in a position where nobody thinks they're good defensively or thinks they're elite defensively, but they have been playing elite defensively. So he calls them a good defense, but also says he thinks the offense could have been better. So I think that's a little bit funny.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that he's blaming it. And I won't say blaming it, but more concerned about the offense after last night. I mean, they did only put up 96 points, which is pretty abnormal, but I guess I hear him too, because, this team, again, we've talked about it countless times. This team is still an offensively minded team. And if their offense isn't going to be there, the Kings aren't going to win any games really where they score 96 points. It's just really tough for them to hold opponents below that. I still feel like the defensive end is really where they let themselves down last night. I can't believe PJ Washington in that first quarter hit. Once he hit his first 2 threes, I was like, well, this is exactly what the Kings wouldn't want is another guy. To your point of earlier, the others start to get going and start feeling themselves early. That then pulls Sabonis out of the paint. It just wasn't from the beginning, the game did not go in the Kings' favor. And, I didn't think the offense looked like it was very sharp, but to me, it was because they just felt like it was completely useless. It felt like defensively they'd pretty much given up at one point, and it felt like they were just going to get open looks or get some good look every single time,
and they were not missing.
No, and that's got to be demoralizing.
That's what I'm saying. Offensively,
like, what are we supposed to do?
Right. Once it felt as if the game was starting to get away from them, and they just couldn't get over the hump. Because I think that first quarter, even just being down a little bit, and then at halftime, that second quarter, as you get into some of the friendly fire that the Kings got into, that second quarter, those turnovers were awful. And Malik Monk, threes are going to come and go. Yeah. I promise you, if I see another underhanded pass.
What about that overhand one?
All of them. That's 30 feet away. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And Coach has talked about that before.
He has, specifically.
It's these Zion, lackadaisical, it's these lackadaisical passes that Malik Monk falls in love with multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times. And I don't understand.
It's always at the wrong time.
It's always at the wrong time. They tricked off multiple fast breaks. I think they only had a couple fast break points.
I think so, yeah.
They tricked off multiple fast breaks. There was one with Keegan and Keon, and they got stuck in between, and then Keegan ended up getting fouled.
Yeah.
They just looked out of sorts. I think the Mavericks, and this is what happened with a couple of the other home games. They felt like not that they could roll the ball out, but they felt as if the Mavericks, all right, Luke is banged up. He's questionable. We'll be able to take care of business. Yeah. And the Mavericks said, no, you won't.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to give us your best foot forward. And the Kings, they weren't prepared.
Yeah.
They weren't prepared.
No, that's a good point.
That's all the way up and down. And people can say, oh, don't blame that on Mike Brown or blame it on Mike Brown. Mike Brown said blame him. He said it starts with him all the way down.
Yeah.
Nobody was ready for last night.
Yeah.
Nobody was ready for last night. Let's get to Will, who wants to be a part of the conversation, 916-339-1140. If you want to be a part of the conversation, what's up, Will? What you got for us?
What's up, Stiles and Watkins? Man, Stiles, you said something I agree with at the end. But you know what? I'm vibing with Watkins today, man, because this team was not ready to play yesterday. And that's on coach. I don't care what nobody says. He always talk about he wants them to figure things out and anything. They weren't ready to play. It was ridiculous, and it was on the defensive side. They're going to score points if you play better defense. And then I agree with TC. I mean, Monk had 3 turnovers. Sabonis had 4. Sabonis got to stop letting himself get trapped and trying to get out of a trap. And he needs to throw the ball out before he get trapped. But he just keeps doing the same thing over and over again. Man, and the problem with this team is you got one guy, really, to be honest, on the defensive side. And that's Keon, who gets upset when he get beat. You can see in his face, Keon is playing defense. The other guys, you score on them, they just trot back down the court. HB, Murray, Keegan and those guys. They just weren't ready to play. And it doesn't make sense. We're talking about 5 games out of 7 nights. But I agree with Watkins, man. Look, none of those guys are over 30. I think HB's the only starter over 30. I mean, come on. You remember we were young like that, man. We could run all day. We could play every night. Come on, man. That has no excuse. If they weren't ready, be honest, Stiles and Watkins, be honest. They were not ready to play. You can see that, man. It was embarrassing. And then those guys were hitting uncontested threes. They don't normally hit those percentages, but they just were hot. And if you're wide open, and the guys ain't getting on you, you're going to keep shooting the threes. And they were just falling. The Kings' problem is defense. They don't have a dog. They don't have a – I was watching the Warriors score, the Warriors and Miami.
Yep.
The Heat had that game under control until crazy what's his name? What's the crazy forward? Draymond kind of wrapped his arm around Patty Mills' neck and kind of choked him a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to change the momentum in the game. You ain't trying to hurt somebody, but you got to make, like Luka. Luka need a hard foul sometimes. You got to make these. Basketball is physical, psychological, and you know what I'm saying, man? Yeah. It's just Dallas just had a flow. They didn't stop the flow.
Yep.
They didn't foul nobody hard. I don't think HB ever fouls anybody hard. They're just too soft, man. I mean, they got to get a physical like Keon. They got to be pissed off when they get beat, but nobody shows any emotion when they get beat. That's what I got to say.
Thanks for the call, Will. Yeah, we're not going to sit here, and this is what the Packers. The Packers guy got in trouble during the NFL playoffs.
That's right. Yeah,
about
condoning injury.
Injury. And I know that's not what Will means.
No, it's not.
It's just old school, hard-nosed.
Man, if you're going to drive the lane, you're going to feel it. Yeah.
And you definitely not getting no and one.
Think about it.
You definitely not getting no and one. It felt as if they were the refereeing, which we haven't really talked about, letting the boys play, not letting the boys play. Nobody took anybody out of their flow. And that isn't who the Kings are. Right, the Kings are just hoping to stay in their flow, and they never got in one, and the game did not really get mucked up versus that Sixers game, which had terrible pace.
No flow.
We got out of that. We got out of the game last night at 9:30.
Yeah, I was shocked. I looked at my phone. I was like, wait, it's 10:15.
There was no fouls. There was no nothing. It was just, okay, you want to take this shot? I hope you miss, and they did not miss.
Here's maybe one of the worst numbers for the Kings yesterday. That third quarter where everything went off the rails, to Willie's point and to what you just said, 1 foul the entire quarter. 1 foul. That just means that you weren't playing physical enough.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can live with a foul if it means that you're playing too physical or you're trying to get guys off their off their line or out of rhythm. One foul for the entire team in the entire quarter as the other team scored, 38 points?
Get Duarte in there.
Nothing. Not even like a hard bump or nothing. 38 points.
Yeah.
38 points in that third quarter.
Get Duarte in there. We know Luka runs hot. Try to throw him. I know, when he gets pissed, he's good. They say that about every player, and it's not
Mad
true.
Fox, remember?
Right. It's not true for every single player. So you got to change up the momentum. You ever play 21, and when somebody's on a roll in 21, maybe you roll them the basketball, or you throw it with a different hand.
Bounce it
Do
super
something.
high. Yeah.
Do something. Someone on the text line has another thought as to why the back-to-backs, we're doing the back-to-back thing again, why the back-to-backs may not be ending the way that we would hope if you're a Kings fan. And also, Fox has some things to say in the postgame, and we hear more from Coach Mike Brown. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Oakland A's open the 2024 season at home Thursday against the Cleveland Guardians.
Swung on and missed. That's the way this ball game ends.
First pitch at 7 on Sactown Sports.
The weather's warming up, spring is here, and so is road trip season. And if you're saying, yeah, sure, I would love to load everything up in my car and hit the road and go on a long road trip, but I don't trust my car. It's not dependable. Well, then go see my friends at Elk Grove Kia. They'll get you into something dependable and super affordable, like a brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS for $19,988. Yep, at a time when the average new car price is over $48,000, Elk Grove Kia can get you into a brand new car for less than half of that. This car's loaded with automatic transmission, an 8-inch touchscreen with rear camera. It's got advanced driver assistance system, so it's got tech and safety. And again, this brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS can be yours for only $19,988. Only at the #1 Sacramento Kia dealer, Elk Grove Kia, in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, and online at elkgrovekia.com. Elk Grove Kia sale price, $20,738. Kia rebate, $750. Net price, $19,988. One at this price. Stock number GK9219. Expires March 31st, 2024.
Join Chris Watkins and the Sactown Sports Street Team this Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Fieldhouse American Sports Pub for some basketball madness and their mouthwatering full menu, 1310 Fulton Avenue. See you there.
It's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Someone on the text line, Chris, at 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Call in, text in. Also, the Sac Chat. Check us out on YouTube, Sactown Sports, and tell your friends about the fastest growing show in Sacramento as we get you ready for the Kings playoffs. And we're going to keep saying playoffs, not playing. Chris, this is a new one. I guess not really a new one. Essentially, the 530 is saying that they failed on back-to-backs versus other back-to-backs because of how the Kings play. The Mavs play at a much slower pace than the Kings.
Sure.
So the Kings off a back-to-back and the Mavs off a back-to-back, also off a plane, is not the same because
energy levels.
The Kings are running. I would say this one probably cancels out because the Jazz had to travel. Luka was questionable. And the Kings, I know it was a short break, but the Kings did get to rest their guys at about the 4 or 5 minute mark 2 nights ago against the Sixers. So I think there is some validity there in what the 530 is saying. But in this situation, I don't know if that's why they lost, because they were more tired.
Yeah. In general, I will say the back-to-backs have killed the Kings. Looking at the numbers, they're now 6-7 on the season on the second night of back-to-backs. They score 111 on the first on the second night of back-to-backs, where if for example, they have 1 day of rest, they're averaging 119 points. They shoot their lowest percentage of any other rest day on back-to-backs from 3 and from the field. On the opponent's side, they allow the most points on 0 days of rest. Allow just under 50% from the field and 43% on threes with 0 days rest. So, there is some validity to the fact that the Kings have been really bad on back-to-backs this year.
You think it's because of how they play?
I'm sure it plays a factor into it for sure. I mean, there is a lot more sprinting on the Kings than really any other team that I see, but sure, I guess so. But it also depends on, things you can't factor. Like, because the Kings run so much all year, are they more conditioned to it? Like, you can't really gauge where guys' stamina levels are at. It's obviously not a video game. We can't see how the Kings running the night before affects them more or less than Dallas. I would assume so. It makes sense logically, but again, you have to factor in, maybe the fact that they're conditioned to it at this point, and in a weird way, it's all just kind of neutral.
I don't really want to get into that simply because that feels like a foundational problem.
Sure.
And if you're building a team that is going to gas out essentially towards the end of the season, that feels like an issue.
Yeah, let me check.
Feels like an issue.
I'll check the pace numbers and I'll see if there's any correlation between it. But I wouldn't think so. I would think that probably the fastest teams in pace are teams like, the Celtics and probably Denver, maybe the Pacers too. And those guys don't. I'll check their back-to-back numbers, but they don't struggle in general throughout the season. So it makes sense, but I don't think it ends up factoring out that way.
916-339-1140. Let's get to Patrick in Hawaii, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Patrick? What you got for us?
Hey, guys. I love the conversation right now, and I just wanted to say I think the Kings are looking like a top-notch team right now. They really do. They're looking good.
Even after last night?
Man, I've seen better performances, but still, I think it was close enough to say, like, you guys are still a playoff racing team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, the season's it's not over yet. It's not over yet. And
thanks for the call, Patrick. Enjoy that weather out there.
I know. Yeah, for real. Absolutely. And appreciate you listening out there. There's got to be a lot of great things to do out there. So we appreciate you taking the time to
just check us out while on the beach.
36-point loss.
So. That's right.
Calling from the Big Island.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Might be calling back.
That's awesome.
I think that's him again.
That's awesome. But yeah, I definitely think that, the season's not over. It definitely doesn't feel good, but you can't let one game ruin your whole perception of this team. Again, the Kings can't dwell on this because of how many tough opponents they have coming up, man. Like, they got the Celtics, they got OKC, they got the Pelicans, they got the Clippers, they got Phoenix. Easier. They can't feel bad about it. They can't feel like, oh, we just lost to the Mavericks in a really big game we couldn't get up for. I guess we're not that good. No, they got to shake it off. And by Friday, they got to be looking like the team that we've seen the past couple weeks. Because if that team shows up and if that team can take that lump and then return back to form, man, I do think that the Kings are going to surprise some people down the stretch, myself included. I definitely think, I'm just kind of penciling them in as hopefully around 500 the rest of this way. But, if they play like how we've seen them play the last couple weeks, there's no reason why they can't beat any of the teams that they face after here. So, try to not get too down after what was a really terrible performance.
Coming up next, we hear more from Coach Mike Brown and also De'Aaron Fox and what was going on with Domantas Sabonis against Derek Lively. And of course, it happens on a night where TNT actually gave the Kings some love. We will play that sound when we would get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keon, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday will include cloudy skies expected for the afternoon, limited sunshine. Temperatures today will top out low to mid-60s. We're looking at rain showers arriving around sunset, lasting through the evening. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
This is for the men who never settle. The ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. And the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Elevate your golf game at Timber Creek Golf Course in Roseville. Just named to the prestigious Golfer's Choice 2024 Top 25 Public Golf Courses in all of California by Golf Pass. Timber Creek offers an unparalleled experience. Our revamped practice facility features a grass driving range, expanded putting greens, and a chipping area complete with sand traps. Whether you're a pro or just starting your golf journey, Timber Creek is the place to be. Visit us and discover why we're the talk of Sacramento and beyond. Unwind and tee off at Timber Creek Golf Course.
Welcome to the March Mania sales event at Kia of Vacaville. Get ready for an extraordinary showcase of our 2024 vehicle lineup. Experience the latest in cutting-edge technology, innovative features, and the sleek Kia design that defines excellence. During March Mania, we're excited to offer unbeatable lease options on our top models. Step into the future with the all-new Kia Sportage, where captivating design meets exhilarating performance. Explore the remarkable fuel efficiency of the Kia Niro, a hybrid marvel that extends your journey with every mile. Discover the luxury and versatility of the Kia Telluride, seamlessly blending sophistication with practicality. Don't miss our eco-friendly Kia hybrid options, perfect for those who prioritize efficiency without compromising on style. And with the EV9 in stock, Kia of Vacaville is your destination for electric excitement. Visit us today during March Mania and take advantage of exclusive lease deals and special offers. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit the Kia of Vacaville for more details.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Luka can beat you and Kyrie can beat you. And that's exactly what happened last night. We saw a couple blitzes, didn't work out very well. And apparently, Lively can shut down Domantas Sabonis. I don't know what was different. I don't know. We talked about Daniel Gafford, and he really didn't even play that much. What the heck happened, Chris, against Sabonis and Lively? Why couldn't Sabonis really do anything? He got locked up.
Yeah. Sabonis was 1 for 4 when going against Derek Lively yesterday. Completely shut him down. I mean, I think the biggest thing that he did really was read a scouting report, which would tell everybody, just don't jump. If you're going against Sabonis, be as close to a boulder as you could possibly be. Just try and hold your ground. We know, I mean, we've made fun of it before, but our friend in the Bay Area was right. Like, homeboy does like to throw that shoulder,
right.
and create the separation. And, if you're a defender, the worst thing you could do is get in the air and lose all of your base, essentially. If you're up in the air, obviously Sabonis can create that space a whole lot easier. Lively was just like, dude, I'm 7 feet tall. Credit him, too. We've seen guys like Chet Holmgren, like his buddy Daniel Gafford.
Young guy, too.
Bullied. Just get absolutely shoved around. He didn't. He held his ground, and I think that's really the biggest thing that he did against Sabonis was just, frankly, not be afraid of him. I do think that there's a lot of bigs in this league who are afraid of contact, and I think Derek Lively just showed he's not. And, that's really big, like you said, from a really young guy in this league to just not be afraid to take elbows, to take shoulders from possibly the strongest guy in the NBA. That definitely showed me something there for sure, and I give all the credit to Derek Lively because, it doesn't mean it was easy, but he stood in there and he took every single blow and really didn't look like he gave up any ground last night.
He didn't. It was, and that's the thing about playoff basketball. Sabonis needs other people.
Yeah.
Sabonis needs guys to hit shots. Sabonis needs guys to help take the load off him offensively.
Yeah.
And that allows him to, now it's a fake handoff. But if nobody is moving because nobody is hitting shots on the other end or the other players, it neutralizes him a bit, and it just not a bad game for Sabonis, of course, but just not enough to get it done when the other team was just so hot to trot. They were actually nationally televised game. Shaq had a lot of good things to say about Sabonis and puts him in some rare air. And then the Kings go out and put up a stinker. This is what Shaq had to say and the broadcast team on TNT about Domantas Sabonis.
Who is in the Big Man Alliance?
I will let you know.
Embiid, Jokic, Sabonis.
Yep.
Those three. We'll let more.
AD?
De'Aaron Fox.
AD's not a big man. He's a power forward. Don't do that.
Oh, man.
Don't do that.
All
power forward-ish.
No, he's a center. Don't do that.
Both teams tonight, Jamal, are shooting over 50% from three.
Tim Duncan
De'Aaron
ain't no
Fox,
big man
2 of
either.
3
He's a
from
power
beyond
forward.
the arc.
He's in the alliance, though.
Has that clutch game.
So you got some love there.
He's a center.
The big man alliance with Jokic.
That's right.
Was Giannis in there? Joel. Was Giannis in there?
I don't know if he threw Giannis in there. It would make sense if he did.
And Sabonis.
Yeah, that's my guy.
And I think all of them, not just look, if Jokic is doing what he does and he's passing it out to KCP and Jamal Murray and they're all bricking, it's going to be tough. You need your guys to make shots.
Not for Jokic. Jokic will just score. I mean, that's what makes him different.
Well, fine.
Yeah.
But
don't do that.
Yeah, don't
Stop
do that.
it. Stop it.
Don't do
Stop
that.
it.
Fine.
Stop it.
If Jokic is a unicorn,
He sure is.
Sabonis is still in the right.
Yeah.
You
He's in
need somebody
fairy
to
tale
do
town.
something. I mean, you're not going to have Jokic score 80 points.
He can score 40. He can score 50.
All right.
It is. It's the reality of the situation.
Chris,
that's what makes
he
him
needs
different.
guys to make shots.
He doesn't. That's what makes him different.
But if he didn't need guys to make shots, then they wouldn't have had to move off of the guys they move off of to upgrade
if
to
you look
KCP.
at the playoffs, he had plenty of games where guys weren't hitting shots,
Yeah.
and there would be, okay, we're going to make sure Aaron Gordon doesn't get what he wants. We're going to make sure KCP doesn't get open looks. We're going to force Jokic to be aggressive because Jokic doesn't want to score. And so if you take away those other options, that's what makes him so deadly is he's almost a hesitant scorer, but he'll still drop 40 on you every single time. That's what makes him different. And he's got the three, and he's got the mid-range, and he's just a load in the paint.
Well, Sabonis is still in the conversation.
Yeah.
He's in the look.
Yeah.
Look, man, it's not me saying it. It's not me saying
Yeah.
it. It's Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, no, he's definitely in the conversation of the 3 or 4 best big men in the NBA.
Yeah, and he's limited in some ways, as everybody but Jokic is. I liked the fact that Sabonis, he took a shot, a midi, pretty early in the shot clock, and I think it might have been the first quarter, maybe the second quarter. And initially, a lot of people would say, "Why are you taking that shot? That's not a good shot." I think he has to.
Yeah.
He did that a couple times last night, and I think it was once he was trying to figure out how Derek Lively was playing him.
Yeah.
And initially, I even thought, what are we doing here? We can't get something better. But the further we get in the season and closer we get to playoffs, he's gonna have to, and hopefully he hits some. But he has no choice.
Yeah, no, I mean he took 2 or 3 of them yesterday, and he missed them all. That was the problem. Is he missed every single one of them. his touch just isn't there with that mid-range push shot. But, if they're going to give him that shot, he has to take it. If they're going to give him any amount of room, like how Draymond was playing him in the playoffs, he's got to show the ability to hit that shot, or else teams are just going to sag off and they're going to not allow other guys to get open by cutting and force Sabonis to be in that situation. He's got to hit it. He's got to be better at it. We've seen him extend his 3-point range, but realistically, it only does you so many good favors. You've got to be a 3-level scorer. You can't just be at the rim and then from 3. You've got to develop that mid-range free throw line jumper, and that's really the part of his game that he doesn't have yet. Is just that free throw line extended jumper, and that little one-handed push shot just has no touch to it.
And I did think it was a result of, okay, I'm going to go shoulder, 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 and it looked like the Boogie Cousins meme with Karl Anthony Towns.
That's right.
Lively just wasn't moving.
No.
He wasn't moving. Sabonis wasn't really getting to the line. They were weirdly letting the boys play. Yeah. They were playing pretty straight up defense, the Mavs were, and Sabonis said, okay, I have no choice. I have to take these jump shots.
Yeah.
And once you're doing something because your bread and butter isn't working, you're not going to do it with the same confidence. So Sabonis got neutralized. When he tried to kick it out, everybody was bricking. It was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
It was simply a mess.
Yeah, no, it looked terrible. I mean, you had nobody else really contributing, and, it does kind of tie in a bit to yesterday was a game where they needed Malik, man. I don't think it completely erases the 36-point deficit, but that team needed a jolt of energy. They needed a spark, and, with Sabonis really struggling, 11 points, 10 or 12 boards, and 9 assists that's what a bad Sabonis game looks like these days. They just needed that extra pop. They didn't have De'Aaron even, didn't eclipse the 20-point mark. It just felt like nobody really had it. And nobody was willing to, or was able, I should say, to put their cape on and try and make it close. And it all started within the paint. Sabonis not being able to establish that paint. De'Aaron never really established a rim presence either. And, we've talked about it before. It's their drive and kick system, their spray 3 system is great, but it is a bit like a play action where you do have to establish the run before you run the play action. And you have to establish attacking the rim before you establish the spray 3s. And they just never even established the first part. So I think once that happened, they just never really stood a chance. And then you're taking the ball out underneath the rim every single time. There was no flow at all.
I'll tell you somebody who I think did pretty darn well, and he made a couple Mavs players touch the earth, and he also hit some threes. That was Davion Mitchell.
That's right.
Davion Mitchell, the game was the game, and there was only so much he could do, and they're going to be asked to do once the game got out of hand. But Davion Mitchell was probably the main guy to me, and Keon Ellis, the two guys that were ready to play last night.
Yeah. Yeah, how about that too? Davion making Exum touch earth.
He should have shot it.
Filthy.
I don't think he realized.
He did.
I think he might have turned around, and the bench was going crazy, and they didn't get a shot out of it. And look, I wish he took that shot.
I know, yeah.
I wish he took that shot.
He hit a mid-range too where he had a nice little move. Davion's he's just playing with a different level of confidence right now, and he needs it. We've seen him go through his offensive struggles for a long portion of his Kings career so far, but I think since the All-Star break, or even since the turn of the new year, he's been a 40% three-point shooter. Last night, he's 2 of 3. The other night, he hit a couple threes as well. It just feels like things are really clicking for him. And then on the defensive end, last night's not really a great matchup for him with Kyrie and with Luka, but he's still able to have some defensive impact as well. So you're right. Davion and Keon were really the two yesterday that if you want to point to anybody who seemed like they were ready for what was to come, it was probably those two, but that's not nearly enough.
When we return, we will hear from Coach Mike Brown on the double team situation. Also, yes, we will play the infamous sound from De'Aaron Fox last night. And the question, we'll talk about the question and whether or not it made sense. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Hey, it's Carmichael Day from my good friends at American Energy. Now, I've told you this before, but this is what we call extending a good deal. Right now, American Energy Heat and Air is offering an HVAC diagnostic for $99. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Never mind. They're offering it free. It's a $99 value, but you get it for $0. Let the American Energy team test your system connections and all the moving parts of that system to ensure that it's functioning properly. Now, this is a limited time offer, expires March 31st. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. Speak to the company that has an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau that's been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Jiffy Lube has a special promotion going on right now. Simply purchase a Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change at Jiffy Lube and receive a $25 e-gift card from popular brands for food, gas, and more. It's that easy. Simply purchase a Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change and receive a $25 e-gift card. So basically, going to Jiffy Lube can get you a free lunch or a pizza for dinner. That's what we call added value for the consumer. That's why Jiffy Lube is #1 in the greater Sacramento area for oil changes. Visit jiffylube.com for more details and valuable coupons today.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
According to Bogey Jones in the Daily Divot, golf is the best sport ever, and they provide a few reasons why. Some include no two courses are the same, so you'll never get bored. Some are wicked long, others have super thick rough, and others have fast greens. Enjoy the variety. You can make the game competitive with anyone. With other sports, bigger, stronger, younger opponents may have an edge. In golf, different tees and a formal handicap system makes it competitive, even if you're a 30 handicap. Golf can't be conquered. One day you can't miss a shot, the next day you want to throw all your clubs into the lake. The unpredictability is fascinating, and age is just a number. You can play when you're 70 years old. In fact, some don't take up the game until later in life, but don't wait that long. And you'll meet amazing people, celebrities, athletes, successful CEOs. You never know who you'll meet on a golf course. And oh yeah, it's a game. So have some fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Hey guys, do you know your T-level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Right now, you're missing all the fun at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range powered by Top Tracer. It's the place to be this summer in Sacramento. Whether you're an accomplished player or a newbie, there's something for everyone at the Hagen Oaks Nighttime Driving Range. Golf is happening right now, and the Hagen Oaks Driving Range is the perfect place to see what the fuss is all about. The Hangout Food Truck offers tasty bites and craft beers on the brand new relaxed patio, and with a free concert schedule, there's always something for everyone at the Hagen Oaks Driving Range. Join the fun tonight until midnight. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
Maida Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on every new Silverado LT and RST half-ton diesel in stock after rebates. A Maida Chevy exclusive. See all the truck season savings at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Ends 4/30/24.
one thing that happened last night that was viral, I'd say, and definitely memorable. If anyone remembers, what was this, Chris? And please don't forget, 12:30, we have the Kings Roundtable. We will get the guys' thoughts on everything that went down last night on and off the court. Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli. Yeah, it was, what do you mean, 2 months ago?
It was in February, I think.
Really? Podium Gate was.
It might have been
February?
January. I feel like wasn't it after an OKC game?
It was definitely January.
Let's see here. They lost. Oh, you know what? It started after the play-in, right? I think like the play-in was the first time it happened, and then it kind of spiraled after that.
Just look up a Pelicans or Rockets game.
Yeah, I see a Pelicans 33-point loss in January. Yeah,
Come on, Pelicans.
Come on.
And when was that?
That was January 7th. They then beat the Pistons and the Hornets and then lost to the Sixers, Bucks, Suns, and Pacers.
Okay, so somewhere
around there.
Somewhere in that mix, Podium Gate started,
right,
where
I think it was late December.
Really, media, and we've discussed on this show pretty openly about how fans feel about media and how fans are always going to connect to players over the media, when in media's mind, they're trying to get the fans information.
Yes.
So there's always been a disconnect there, but fans don't see it that way. Some fans don't read articles. Some fans don't care. They just want to watch their team play, and they're going to defend their guys. So Podium Gate started where there were games in which the Kings got blown out, and the leaders of the team, or the perceived leaders of the team, did not speak. It was two-way guys and guys that really didn't have much to do about the game.
Right.
We went back and forth about it. Should there be some accountability there? Do you care? Do you not care? This got brought back up last night under the guise of positivity that De'Aaron Fox had been showing up to these bad games, these blowouts, and the question was asked whether or not it was kind of a conscious decision. Essentially, De'Aaron, basically how I took it was, De'Aaron, are you making sure you come out here on during these games versus PR, the team asking you to come out? And this is what De'Aaron Fox had to say.
De'Aaron, we've for quite a while now, you've come out and addressed like some of your bigger and maybe more difficult losses. Is this like something you're kind of making a point of doing for some reason in turn, just leading this team and kind of showing that accountability? And
as far as talking to y'all?
Yeah, just,
I don't get shit out of that. Okay. I don't get nothing out of that. They ask me, I do it.
But for the team, so it really doesn't mean anything in terms
they don't give a I come up here and talk, I'll tell you that. But I mean, if Michael asked me, I do. If Michael or Shannon asked me, I do it.
Okay. Well, they're good.
I get no joy in this after a win or a loss. My team doesn't care if I come up here in a blowout win or a blowout loss. So
sorry I brought it up.
I mean, it is what it is.
So I was in there. Yes. And you were doing the post game. And when I tell y'all, I literally sprinted upstairs to tell Chris what happened. I had to. Chris was wrapping up. He was wrapping up the post game, and I had to sprint up there to tell Chris what had just happened. And the vibe essentially was, he was smiling. Don't get me wrong. He was smiling, but you could tell De'Aaron had that in the chamber for a while.
Yeah.
When I first heard it, did I think it was a very timely question? Not really. Right. I mean, it felt like we had moved on. Podium Gate had ended, but you could definitely tell that De'Aaron had, and Chris and I were joking as we're walking back to our cars, he had pocketed that from months ago. If anybody asked me about this, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And you could tell he was ready. And we talk a lot about being a franchise guy and whether or not that matters. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this. I'm a bit torn on it. He was honest, and I think we're always going to appreciate the honesty. I think he was taken back
on the question. I don't think he was expecting to get the question. I think he had something prepared in case of emergency.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the cussing is that people can say that that's him being real. It doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
Either way, he just wanted to let everybody know. I think the bottom line is that they do not view the post-game press conferences or any media availability as, wow, this is our guy taking one for the team. It's just who has to do it today, whoever comes and gets us. De'Aaron did not say, hey, guys, as we were imagining after one of their bad losses early in the season, no, Keon, you sit down. I will speak for the team.
Got this.
They do not view it as speaking for the team.
It's not accountability.
It is just media availability. I'm going to answer the questions and I'm going to go about my day.
Yeah, just try to essentially not make headlines is what it sounds like.
Well, he did the opposite.
Exactly, yeah. And, I do think it's De'Aaron being real. I think that there's a lot of NBA players and just athletes in general who probably do feel that way. But yeah, to me, the thing that I'm reading out of that is, we did kind of get an answer to, it's because a part of the Podium Gate question was, is this on the players? Is this PR? Like, how is that decided? De'Aaron pretty much says that they're like, we don't decide any of it. If they ask us, we get pulled in. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, the fact that the team, we don't need to have the conversation of leadership when it comes to holding themselves accountable or really anything said in those post-game press conferences, even the pre-games. It's for the most part going to be a lot of athlete speak. It's not saying that you're not going to get anything out of it. It's just you might have to read between the lines a lot of the time, because even though these guys are apparently trying to be as boring and mundane as possible, it's still hard to avoid saying a bit of the truth. So it's, I get it. I get De'Aaron. I get everybody, championing him, saying like, oh, this is so real. This is so awesome. But I do want to caution a little bit. There is still a lot of positive in media. And it's interesting to me that, there's people don't really talk about the value of it. Like the fact that you do get to connect the fans with what they're saying. Like the media is really just meant to be a microphone for the fans. It's meant to be, hey, almost like a middleman of, hey, fans are wondering this, let me ask you about it. And then the players on the other end saying, hey, fans don't get this level of access. Let me tell you things that you might be wondering about. And so I still think there's value in media, and I'd like to just push back a little bit and say, I would hope that some of the players don't just look at it as this is a chore, let me give them nothing, because I do think there's a lot of fans out there, especially when you cover a team like the Kings that don't have a ton of national media or just don't have a ton of, media in general. How else are fans supposed to get the information they want?
To be fair, and even after that question, he said it with a smile.
Yeah. And he does it every time. Too.
Yeah,
I'm not bashing him for not wanting to do it.
There was I guess towards the end, it was somebody I think in the media said appreciate you, and he said, oh, it's all good. It was kind of awkward, but not terrible. It wasn't contentious.
Yes, yeah.
I wouldn't say, and he was not in a terrible mood prior to that question or after that question. He answered the questions. I think the main thing is if you want, I guess, big picture, if you ask big picture questions, you're going to get big picture answers. We got to be better. We got to they're going to say that. But if you ask about what specifically happened, he'll tell you. I mean, he told us before that question, Luka hit some threes. We overreacted to those threes.
Yeah.
So we came up on him. And then even though Luka, he doesn't look like he is the fastest dude in the world, he's strong. He uses that off arm. Once he gets downhill, then the world is his oyster.
Right.
That's what happened.
Yep.
And me sitting there watching the game, paying attention, did I realize it? Kind of, yeah, but just hearing it from De'Aaron made it more clear.
Yeah.
So I do think if you ask the right questions, they will give you the right answers.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you get into these big picture questions, that's when you're going to get the athlete speak.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't really have a problem with it's nothing that we didn't already know from De'Aaron. I mean, it's not as if when LeBron gets interviewed, you could tell LeBron loves being interviewed. Okay? Not everybody is like that. And De'Aaron is not like that, and that's his prerogative. He's out there to play basketball. There's things that come with it, but he does take care of the things that also comes with it. When we return, we will hear about the double teams and why they were not that successful. And I know Chris has a mini grin here because he told us they wouldn't be successful against the Mavericks. Mike Brown has some things to say about it. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Hey, we're David and Greg Figueroa, founders of Melinda's Hot Sauce. Sometimes brand testimonials feel, well, unbelievable. So we have a fresh take. Tastemonials. Comments from real people on the internet who love Melinda's balance of hot heat and fresh, flavorful ingredients. At 2021 DoWork says, legendary. Nobody does it better. What was that? Sounds for fire emoji, touchdown emoji, and 100% emoji. Okay. At Snack Food Mafia says, I love how they are a thicker hot sauce and not some watery junk. Love it. At Mushroom writes, best hot sauce west of the Mississippi, also the best hot sauce east of the Mississippi. Pro tip, that's the whole United States. Finally, at IGP1 always says, smack so hard. We love to hear that as much as the FCC. Set your mouth on flavor with Melinda's Hot Sauces. Find them at your local retailer or online at melindas.com. That's MELINDAS.com.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Beachhead Deli on 711 K Street is now your place to go in downtown Sacramento prior to all the games, concerts, and events. Conveniently located just across the street from the arena, Beachhead Deli features the finest gourmet sandwiches and craft beverages anywhere. Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street is also your premier lunch destination 7 days a week. Come by and say hi to new owner Brad Wakai. He's so excited to take care of all your taste bud needs. That's Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street in Sacramento.
It's Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you want a deal that's a slam dunk, go see the winning team at Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is your truck headquarters with all your American-made favorites, like America's best-selling F-Series, F-150s, and Super Duties, or spacious new Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford, right here in Sacramento. You can buy any new Ford with zero down on approved credit, save big with low interest finance rates, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Check out the huge selection of inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership to see their most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. They'll help you out. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 35 years and counting.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Ulta Beauty's semi-annual beauty event is happening now. Unleash your love for beauty with 50% off daily beauty steals on hair, skin, makeup, and fragrance. Shop your favorite brands like Tarte and Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. Plus, grab perfect hair care pairs from brands like Redken and Olaplex. And check out new arrivals from brands like Charlotte Tilbury and Dyson. Shop the Ulta Beauty semi-annual beauty event online, in-store, or try pickup today. Now through March 28th. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. You know, there's nothing like getting a massage on my way to work. I know it sounds crazy, but my new ride has seats that massage my back. Leave it to Mercedes-Benz. I've had my new EQS SUV for a few months now, and it's the most gorgeous and sophisticated vehicle I've ever had. I've owned electric cars before, but Mercedes-Benz has set a new standard on how awesome an electric car can be. I never stress about battery charging, and it's got remarkably long range, and it is easy to charge. Now, if you could plug in your hair dryer in the morning, you can plug in this car. It's very simple, and the timing is perfect. It's Mercedes Madness Month at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Enjoy up to $19,000 in Mercedes-Benz incentives on select new vehicles, plus a complimentary home charger and 2 years of prepaid maintenance. And they've got certified pre-owned Mercedes vehicles as low as 1.99% APR for qualified buyers. It's Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. It's just a short 30-minute drive from Sacramento, right off I-5, or online at mbfstockton.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
A team that likes to blitz, which we haven't seen that much with the emergence of Keon Ellis, but a team that likes to blitz versus a team that is essentially unblitzable because they have two elite scorers. And honestly, the Mavs everybody is more blitzable if the others are missing shots. They weren't blitzable last night. And because they weren't blitzable last night, it made it very, very hard for the Kings to keep up, especially when they were not hitting shots at the same clip as the Mavericks. And the one cool thing, I was telling Chris about this last night, the one cool thing about this mini 2-game series is that we do get to treat it like a playoff series, right? We don't have to just close the book on this game and look forward to the next game and refresh everything, right, with a new opponent. We literally get to see what just happened and break it down in a way to see and say what should happen in the next game to make these adjustments. I think it's one of the best things for the Kings and the Mavericks, to be completely honest with you. It's a situation that they hope to be in, whether it probably won't be against each other, but at the beginning of the playoffs or deeper into the playoffs. And one of the things that the Mavs were able to break through and exploit was the Kings blitzing, which they like to do when somebody's getting beat. They had nobody, they had no answer for Luka. Some of those contests from Keegan were not bad. And it didn't matter, even with a bad Achilles and off a back-to-back. And after 41 minutes, it did not matter. Luka Doncic had it rolling. Let's hear from Coach Mike Brown on what he had to say about the way the Mavs stretch the double team. And they will basically look to fix that in a way going into Friday. And honestly, I'm not really sure how you do it besides just hope that the others don't make shots. And I mean, I think some of these guys are fairly streaky. And I don't expect them to continue to shoot like that, but they've been bad for a while. Maybe they'll be good for a while. PJ Washington, Tim Hardaway Jr. to me is so confusing.
That's my guy,
and
dude.
He's on the no-fly zone for me for prop talk. He's on the no-fly zone for me for prop talk. But let's hear from Coach Mike Brown and what he had to say about the double teams.
What they did was when we doubled them, they just tried to stretch the double team so that our rotations are longer. And then they just got the ball out and they made one more. You had to rotate and made one more simple pass. And because they stretched the double team and our rotations are longer. Now, again, I always talk about the domino effect. Our team sometimes gets into the mode where the guy that has the ball thinks he has to make the assist. And sometimes it's the hockey assist that kills teams. And so tonight, when we did blitz, they did a great job of extending the double team, and we had to because those guys both had it going in certain times of the game. But they got it out just simply to the open man, and they let that open man make a play when we had to rotate to him. And, you just live with whoever takes a shot at that time, and hopefully you're able to get there and contest. And more than that, you hope that they miss. But if they make shots, then at the end of the day, you can say, hey, I'm going to live with that because we're not letting Luka get another 26 in the second half, and then Kyrie, get 20 or 30 in the second half himself.
So it feels like they could have been better, but at the same time, he was echoing, we did what we wanted to do. They just made shots.
Yeah.
They just made shots. And you've been saying, don't blitz. There's one thing I disagreed with you. In a while back when there was no Kyrie.
Yes.
Right. And he's, hey, you can't blitz Luke. All right. I mean, it's Luke and
right.
Gladys Knight. It's like, come on now. It's the Jackson
Josh
5.
Green, Jalen Green, all the greens,
come
all
on
the
now.
colors out there.
If you can't blitz them now, you truly will never be able to blitz them. But with Kyrie out there, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, it's too hard. It's way too hard because, you're going to send a double and then it's going to become 4-on-3. And, the problem with doing it against Luka, and it's not that teams don't do it. I just think that you shouldn't because he is such a good playmaker. Mike Brown talks about stretching out the double team. He's going to pull it back every time you send the double, and then he's going to look and he's going to find the open man, and it just doesn't matter where he is. If the dude's in the corner, which is the toughest pass to make from half court, he's going to have the ability to make it. He's just always going to find the open man. I understand why you send the double, at least when they're setting that pick and roll, but you can't send isolation doubles on Luka. Like, to me, you've just got to be able to help, and it's unfortunate that they don't really have the personnel to match up with him. But, I do think I think I have gone to more so towards your side of, like Mike says there, if it's a lot better than I can live with Tim Hardaway or PJ Washington or Josh Green going 5 of 5 from 3. That's just unfortunate. Like last night, that's just kind of unfortunate. Yeah. After watching how it actually happened, watching Luka and Kyrie both cook you, I will gladly.
You don't have a choice.
I will gladly take. Yeah, I'll gladly take PJ Washington, Derek Lively, and the crew hitting 8 threes or whatever. I'll much rather lose than that than have Luka and Kyrie just absolutely kill you all night.
And they're playing good ball right now, but they're not unbeatable.
No,
right?
No.
Luka has seen doubles before.
Yeah.
He's done exactly we talk about in pickup. Somebody, wow, that's a really good point guard. If your dude is making shots, right? If the guys you're passing to are making shots, if they're not making shots, nobody is talking about how good your point guard is because you have to finish the play. So Luka has definitely seen doubles before. I don't think he's treating the Kings doubles any differently.
Nope.
It's just a matter of whether that last pass, whether it be the second pass or the third pass, the hockey assist, whether that is resulting in a bucket from the others. I'm looking here as we talked about earlier, and you mentioned the others. Yeah, a lot of them did things that they don't typically do. Does that mean you should sit there and feel better about how the Kings played? Maybe you can hope that they'll regress to the mean. I mean, we're not counting. They had 22 threes. They had 22 threes, and out of the 22, they had 2, 4, 2, 6, 7, 11, 13, 14. They had 22 threes. 14 were from guys not named Luka or Kyrie.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not going to happen most nights.
No.
Like, you're not going to have maybe Tim Hardaway's going to hit 3.
Drop it to 10.
But to have him and PJ, like there was not I think you did the list earlier. There was not a guy who I think did all of the Dallas Mavericks, like key contributors, shoot over 50% from 3. It felt like every single person who took a 3 at least made one of them, if not made 2 of them. Like, that's just not going to happen. Maybe, again, you can have one guy go off for you, but there's no way on Friday you're going to have another PJ Washington, Dante Exum. Let's see here. Jaden Hardy hit 1 at the end of the game. Markieff Morris hit 1 at the end of the game. There's just no way that they're going to get that level of contribution from the other guys. And, in a weird way, I guess you can say, the Kings did a good job for the most part of slowing those guys down. But I think at some point it just became, the Derrick Jones 3 was one too many. Tim Hardaway really didn't do much in that first half, but he closed the game for them pretty much once that game was over. Tim Hardaway completely took over. 15 of his 22 were in that second half. It just wasn't good enough. And again, I don't really know how fairly we can judge the Mavericks off of that game, because it felt like, that was just a game from the heavens for them.
And I don't know if I was alone in this, but it got to a point where once the game was basically over, I wanted the Mavs to keep hitting. I wanted
get it all out
now. Just keep you're up 30, 25, 30, whatever it is. Just keep making them, because use them all now. Yep. There's no way you're going to continue to shoot like this. And I know it's only a 2-game set. It's not as if we're saying there's no way they're going to shoot like this for 4 games. It is only one more.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
It's definitely possible.
It's definitely possible, but I would not call it probable at this point in time. And the hope is that the Kings, they go back to the drawing board. They have today off. They go back to the drawing board tomorrow, and they figure some things out and just get that swagger and get that confidence back a little bit. When we get back, pocket watching what is on tap tonight in the NBA. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
In 15 minutes, we will be joined by Frankie Cardicelli and Brendan Nunez, our Sactown Sports Kings insiders. Get your calls ready. Get your texts ready. Get your Sac Chat ready. Get it all in. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the Kings. So tonight, Chris, it was a small slate yesterday, but a very important slate, as we know. And the Kings really could have done themselves some good if they won. Instead, the Mavericks have done that. The Kings are now a game back of the Mavericks, and the Mavericks are now only a game back of the Pelicans, who lost in a really good game against the Thunder. The Thunder now a half game behind the Nuggets as they try to catch the Nuggets for that 1 seed. So the Pelicans are starting to spiral a little bit. People are even discussing. I saw something, Chris. I think it was Brian Windhorst. So, of course, he was finding a way to talk about the Lakers. But he said that if the Clippers are a team that, if they don't figure it out, could randomly slip into the play-in, which would be insane.
Yeah, especially with where they were fighting for like the 1 seed for a minute, where they were more so in that group. And I'm looking at it now. They're only a half game up on New Orleans, who's in the 5 spot, and they're only a game and a half up on Dallas, who just moved in there. So, it's not out of the question. Again, we've talked about Dallas's easy schedule the rest of this way. Maybe Dallas is a team that somehow ends up in that 4 seed, especially if they win on Friday. New Orleans definitely leaving that door open for Dallas, or maybe Sacramento or Phoenix, to slide into that 5 seed still. It's still open, man. As crazy as it is, as depressing, honestly, as yesterday was, there's still a lot of time for action. And you know, if you, and again, no one's going to feel bad for you outside of yourself. So you got to pick yourself up and just try and win as many games as you can down the stretch, because it is not over, ladies and gentlemen. Kings 2.5 games out of the 4 spot, only still a game out of the 6 spot, 2 games out of the 5 spot. You know, crazier things have happened. If the Kings, and you know what, the Kings at this point, all they can do is win. You can't really, from the Kings perspective, you can't pocket watch. You can't look at the standings. I know Mike Brown's got it in the practice facility. You just got to ignore it, and you just got to try and win as many games as possible. And then at the end of the season, look where you fall, because, you know, it's going to be nauseating if you check this thing every single day as a player,
especially after a game like last night.
Oh my gosh!
So you already know.
Then you're really feeling it.
Yeah, you already know where it's headed. The Warriors are able to beat basically the same team that came to Sacramento. No Jimmy Butler.
Yep.
No Tyler Hero. They did not have Duncan Robinson, who played like Jason Kidd in that game. They were missing a lot of players, and the Warriors were able to get it done to stay ahead of the Rockets. Warriors are doing their Florida tour. Now they go on a back-to-back. They have to play the Magic tonight, which is going to be a tough one. We know the Magic are trying to do some things for themselves. The Magic a game behind the Knicks for that 4 seed, the Magic in the 5 seed right now. So I don't know. Hopefully I'm sure the Warriors are thinking they can turn this around, but we know firsthand that the Magic are nothing to play with. Klay Thompson, I believe, is back in the starting lineup. He had 28 points last night. Going down the list, this is probably not going to go in the direction you'd like. If it does, then the Clippers are even softer than Tyronn Lue has said. Clippers at 76ers.
Ooh,
it's in Philly, but you would think that the Clippers are going to take care of business there. Also, you have the Timberwolves. They are hosting the Pistons. That should be light work.
Should be.
The Rockets are at Thunder. Thunder are coming off a back-to-back where really the biggest game of the night besides the Kings and the Mavericks. The Thunder, they blew a huge lead to the Pelicans on the road. Then the Pelicans came back, made a game of it. You thought it might have went to overtime. And the Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who the TNT broadcast said he should be MVP. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hits a dagger towards the end of the game to put that out of reach. Josh Giddey also had a 3 towards the end of the game. Lou Dort as well, all 3 of them. So the Thunder, they get that W, and they face a red-hot Rockets team. So the bottom of the play-in, a lot of action tonight. And speaking of the bottom of the play-in, the Lakers get a much-needed W, beating the Bucks without LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron is there sitting there. Did you see him counting Giannis?
No, I didn't.
The free throws.
Really?
He's doing his hands just like a ref. It was hilarious. With Vanderbilt next to him, who Vanderbilt he's basically contributed as much as a ref. He hasn't even been on the court. Yes, exactly. So they end up getting that W. Austin Reeves goes crazy. Yeah. Now they go to Memphis. They're off.
They also prevented all the Sacramento people from watching the game last night.
They did. Yeah. They did.
I really threw you to the ground like that, JJ.
Yes, you did. And now the Lakers head to Memphis, and this would be very Lakers of them to lose that game. I would assume LeBron plays tonight, as he didn't play last night, but would be very Lakers to lose to Memphis with Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson, and the crew. And we have the Jazz at the bottom taking on the Spurs, but most importantly, the Suns are starting.
They're back at it.
The Suns are starting their gauntlet as they head to Denver, and the problem is that the Nuggets still need these games.
Yes. Yeah. They're not like the Celtics.
Exactly.
They're already planning vacation.
The Suns are going to get the best swing that the Nuggets have as they have to go to that elevation, go to Denver to take on the Nuggets. And look, the game is the game. They could easily win that game and really muck this stuff up for the Kings and the Mavericks, but it's going to – after that, I'm sure they have the Celtics or somebody like that.
I can read it for you. I'm looking at it right here, and it just makes me smile and laugh because they have Denver tonight. Then they have OKC on Friday. Then they play the Pelicans, then they play the Cavs, then the T-Wolves, then the Pelicans again, 2-game series against the Clippers, then the Kings, and then they have a nice little rest at the end of the season against the Timberwolves. Just absolutely definition of no days off.
Right. No nets like the Kings or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which, hey, if you do make it in, you'll definitely be prepared.
Yeah, they'll earn it. That's for sure.
You'll definitely be prepared. And I know a couple guys got banged up. Not sure who's going to be out there for the Suns tonight, but they will definitely do their best to stay on the winning side of things. It's tough, man. So there's a lot of action tonight, and the Kings, all they can do is watch.
Yep.
The next 2 nights, all they can do is watch.
Yep. It's you know, at the very least they have a couple days off to kind of get themselves right. But yeah, I mean, they're going to watch as hopefully the Suns continue to lose against good opponents. Hopefully the Kings don't just watch their standings go further and further down. Looking at it here, there's no games on Thursday from Phoenix. So I mean, pretty much from the Kings standpoint of things, you're really just looking at Phoenix to see if the Kings can maybe even fall. Would they fall to the 8 seed if Phoenix wins today? I don't think so, because they would still have they would still have the tiebreaker, I believe. Oh no, actually Phoenix would move a game ahead if they win, just because they would have a better winning percentage. So the Kings could fall to 8th place by the time they play Dallas on Friday. You just got to hope that, again, I said earlier, you can't really standings watch. You got to just take care of your business. But at the same time, the more games that Phoenix wins, because like I said a couple weeks ago, I'm just completely discounting them from this equation. I'm not thinking about them when I think about the Kings and their possible playoff seeding. But if Phoenix does, like you said, if they start winning some of these games and earn their spot in there, that just makes it even worse for the Kings, obviously. Adding another team to that competition makes things a little bit more murky. So hopefully Phoenix doesn't figure things out and they continue to kind of be up and down. And I saw you said Bradley Beal and Nurkic went down last game. I haven't seen an update.
Yeah, I have no clue if it was serious or if they'll be playing tonight. And don't look now, Chris, because I know there's some delusional Laker fans out there, probably some double agents listening right now. 2.5 games back of the 8 seed, the Lakers are. And I know they're hoping if we can get to the 8, at least it gives us 2 chances to get back in there. And with the Suns and what the Suns have going on, if they plummet, you could see the Lakers slide in there and have 2 cracks at it. So we will keep you all in the loop as we have been each and every day with these standings, but not as fun when the Kings do not get it done. When we return, we will be joined by Frankie Cardicelli and Brendan Nunez, our Sactown Sports Kings insiders for the roundtable. Get your calls, get your texts, get your YouTube, get your Sac Chat in if you want to be a part of the conversation. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Who never settle. The ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home, and the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Podium Fiber Internet has put together a heck of a lineup. It's 100% fiber internet. You get a dedicated connection and lightning-fast upload and download speeds up to 2 gigs. Plans start at just $25 a month, so everyone can join in the action.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Podium Fiber, Dawson Oil Company, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's going on for Ram Truck Month, Chad?
Well, we're celebrating with the biggest savings of the year on new 2024 Ram 1500 Laramie Limited. I can barely believe it, but right now you can save up to $16,000 off MSRP on one of America's most loved trucks.
Did you say $16,000 off MSRP?
Yep. And we have California's biggest selection of new Ram trucks with over 500 available. Big savings and big selection. That's what's made us California's #1 Ram truck dealer.
Hey, if you're looking for a truck, Hoblet should be your first and only stop to get the truck you need at the price you want. See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$16,012 savings on select new 2024 Ram Laramie Limiteds after $1086 factory rebates and $6,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include 1,000 case construction cash. Must have purchased eligible case equipment from authorized case dealer. And 500 first responder cash for current members of eligible First Responder Association. Sample VIN 203287. See dealer for details.
Right now, the sewer system is probably the last thing on your mind. And that's okay, because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. If you have a sewer problem like a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night.
Thunder, feel the thunder. It ignites something inside of you. Lightning and the thunder. Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Hey guys, do you know your T-level? Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Revive's customized ED treatments can provide immediate results, restore blood flow naturally, and even bring spontaneity back into your love life. With both in-person and telemedicine appointments available, plus free shipping directly to you, Revive takes the hassle out of treating low T and ED. Having an optimal testosterone level can change your whole life, and it starts with knowing your T level. Take that first step and book your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation, and kickstart your treatment with a free supply of ED medication this month only. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566, or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
You hear that sound? You know what it is. Kings Roundtable time, joined by Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli. Fellas, how you doing?
Doing well, Saya. How art thou?
Wow. Chris can handle this. He likes that stuff.
I'm sorry? Do you not like the medieval thing?
No, he loves it.
Are you a fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't think people get it.
So, Christopher. Well, the round table.
That's ridiculous.
It's the round table.
That's absolutely.
Say good morrow, Chris.
Yeah, good morrow. Is that why you say
good morrow? Every time people talk
reference
in voices like that, have you seen role models?
Yes.
I think about role models every
single time.
I
got it from.
Every single time. Was it Ken Jeong?
Yeah,
They're even like
Jeong.
at like a Waffle House, and like they come out just like right in a character.
Good morrow.
Out
of control. Everyone knows.
No, the reason I say Chris likes it is because when we were going to Vegas, he was trying to get us to go to that thing.
Bro, I can't.
To go to really Medieval Nights?
No, there's just like
Medieval
there's
Nights.
this awesome. I shouldn't say it's
Times.
awesome. I haven't been since I was like under 10
clipping
years old.
it.
Yeah.
No. Okay, well then I'm gonna choose my words very carefully. I suggested, because I found out what hotel we were staying at, I was like, what are some of the amenities in our hotel? And it was like this, I mean, we were staying at the Excalibur, and so it was like a medieval nights. And I remember doing it when I was a kid, and I was with Alan Stiles and Nate. So it's like, yeah, you know who's probably going to have a great time banging on tables and, you know, cheering for some random allegiance that they just got assigned 10 minutes ago? Probably Alan and Nate. So I was just like, we should go.
I can already see Alan saying, dude, we should go to medieval times tonight.
Exactly. But he tried to clown me like this is ridiculous.
No. I'd be down.
No, well,
Thank
yeah.
you, Brandon.
Well, I'd be down too.
Forget
Didn't seem like it.
We're going to medieval
It's
times.
just not at the top of my list. But we'll
sure.
get to do it. We'll do Summer League. We'll do it during Summer
Yeah,
League. And Chris talking about getting clowned about it. Well, the Kings got clowned last night. And it was
nice.
Pretty embarrassing,
Beautiful.
guys. But I think we've become accustomed to every once in a while this is going to happen. If you just hope that it happens, not that often. 132-96. Where do we even start with this? Chris and I have been breaking down the breakdowns defensively, what happened offensively. You had Sabonis struggling with Derek Lively II, things that you had not seen in the past. Obviously, you had Luka, but Luka dealing with a sore Achilles, Kyrie doing his thing. Big picture, what happened last night?
Yeah, I mean, I think that while Dallas put up 120 plus, Mike Brown coming out post game and saying he thinks it was more their offense than their defense. I see why that can be confusing. It kind of caught me off guard too. And looking at it more and kind of something De'Aaron pointed out too, I think it's 21 points that Dallas had off Sacramento's turnovers. And like you guys were talking about earlier in the show, the other guys just kind of hit their shots. And I think that you're willing to live with that. And you take away those 21, you know, that's an okay defensive showing. So I think offensively, it was another night, which I'm getting a little bit concerned now that, you know, there's Miami, there's Houston, there's now this game where teams are packing the paint. It's forcing Sacramento into turnovers. They're not getting to those spray threes that are a huge part of their offense and should be part of every post-game bingo card at this point. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it was maybe 5 games in 7 nights. Hate to use the excuse, but they sure looked tired out there and weren't executing offensively.
Yeah, I think I'm sure whatever I say you guys have maybe already covered. I mean, looking at just the numbers, generally when a team shoots 56% from 3, a loss will follow for that team that allows it. And the Kings, again, who have been very good on defense over the past couple of weeks, maybe it is tired legs. Again, I really don't like making excuses, and I'm sure Mavericks fans will roll their eyes at that, or if it was things were reversed, it'd be the same thing around. But the Kings, really, the 3-point defense had been pretty great with as far as contests go and closeouts. And you kind of waited for Dallas to slow down. They never did. They just never relented. And then the Kings on the other side of things, they weren't really able to get out on the break. They've really done well with winning games by pushing the pace. And I think in every of those Bucks, Lakers, kind of down that list of those recent games where they were impressive, they outscored their opponent by 10 plus fast break points. Well, last night, the Kings were the one that were getting outscored by double digits of fast break points. Dallas got 18-8 in that department. But really looking at this kind of how the Mavericks blueprint works, their success, they had that two-headed snake of Luka and Kyrie. And I think that maybe the goal at the half was slow down Luka. Well, Luka scored 2 points for the remainder of the game, but Kyrie Irving scored 18 in the second half. So one bad quarter usually does a team in, and the Kings had a rough third quarter, and losing by 36 points, it's more than one quarter. I understand that. But it was kind of like a perfect storm of just bad, just kind of like one of the worst performances we've seen for a while. And I don't want to say I'm going to excuse it, but I think with where the Kings are and where they've been, I mean, they won 4 of 5 entering last night, and they, again, 5 games, 7 nights. I think I'm more looking towards Friday before I can really have a general feel. I'm kind of looking at this as I'm not sure if you guys are doing the same thing, but I'm looking at this as a 2-game series and kind of evaluating it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, with the Dallas shooting the lights out, I mean, they shoot 56% last night. That's their highest total or most efficient night of the season. How much of that do you want to put on, you know, you don't actually have to give a number, but how much of that do you think is the Kings versus how much of it is just, you know, Dallas came in last night. We talked about they shot, Frank, you put in your article, Dallas shot 30% from deep over their previous 6 games leading into last night. Was it just kind of they were due, which is something we talked about yesterday, or do you think it was something fundamental with the Kings defense? I mean, Mike Brown's been harping on, you know, perfect closeouts and how they've really just focused on the defensive end, the really simple things. How much of it was the Kings? How much of it was Dallas?
I mean, I think there was like switching that was interesting. Frankie was just pointing out a Twitter thread. It's Steve Jones that put up
Junior.
put up a great breakdown on X, I guess, this morning of the Kings started with Domas. I know I don't like it either. I think that might be the first time I've done it.
Twitter forever.
The Kings started with Domas on PJ Washington rather than a big to kind of try and be able to switch in that pick and roll with Harrison Barnes guarding a big and then being able to switch that matchup. The one-on-one game, Luka was picking apart, whether it be HB or Keegan, kind of doing whatever he wanted, really, it seemed like, for that first half, and then Kyrie had the second. So I think that switching didn't go very well. And then when they doubled, the clip you guys played earlier, the audio clip, those guys do a really good job kind of pulling it out and separating the game and making those rotations a little bit longer. So I think for the most part, like, there were things the Kings could have done better, but again, it was the other guys that made shots. You live with PJ Washington making 3 threes in that first quarter, whatever it was, Tim Hardaway getting going, I think some of those you live with. Now, they could have cleaned up things on the main two guys, but I think those others you kind of live with.
There was a specific shot, I believe, in the second quarter. It might've been early third quarter before it got out of hand, where same idea, Luka, it might've been a hockey assist or a straight up assist. And it ended up Derek Jones Jr. in the corner, and it didn't even hit the rim at all. And it really felt like that took the air out of the building and took the air out of the bench as well. The whole team just thinking,
I remember,
all right, man, if this is what we're doing, I don't know how we're going to kind of combat this. And it was tough. The one thing I do want to get to, as we were talking about the offense as much as the defense, is does it feel was last night, and Chris talked about with that zone and how they run the dribble handoffs and that flow offense, was last night a night where it felt like the offense was a little bit too one-dimensional?
I mean, yeah, and of course, I think that it was also a matter of missing open shots. The Kings have had stretches where they've missed just open shots where guys are getting free, and I'm looking at the third quarter in particular. I mean, they were forcing him more so in that quarter, but as far as the scheme of the game goes, 7 of 21 from the field, 33%, 1 of 6 from 3. And I think as far as on-ball pressure from Dallas and adapting the dribble handoffs and kind of catching on the defense, that's a quarter I'm looking at as far as, okay, the Kings were not just missing shots in the first, second, fourth quarter, but the third, like you said, I think it was kind of a matter of being, maybe call it being stubborn or just going with your, usual game plan, but getting down the shot clock in a lot of those situations and forcing shots. It's really the offense was not in a rhythm at all. They had 3 assists in the whole, or 6 assists in the whole period. Not much ball movement, missing open shots. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox, not quite himself last night, 0 of 3 in the third quarter. But when those guys aren't really able to knock down shots, it's very hard to win games, obviously. I mean, but perfect storm for the Kings, I think, just of everything, just defense, offense. But yeah, I do think they could have switched things up a little bit, maybe try to go at the paint a little bit more. But we've seen the Kings, when they struggle from 3, they usually try to just shoot out of it. And if they don't shoot out of it in time, they're already behind the 8 ball. And that's pretty much what happened last night.
Well, yeah. And the other part of this is we're so deep into the season, you are who you are. So when I'm asking this question, it's not really for the Kings to let's implement a whole new offense right now. I know LeBron, I don't know if you saw LeBron talking about the split action with Sabonis, which they probably could run more often, but looking at the Kings from a playoff series perspective, does that worry you as far as, okay, this team, whoever it is, has seen the Kings offense. Now we're now at game 3, game 4. I know the flow offense is always going to give you open shots, but when you get to a 7-game series, could it look a little stale by game 3 or game 4? We will have the guys answer that question and your questions when we return. Also, what worries you the most about what happened last night? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Spring is here. Fresh cut grass, the crack of the bat. And that means opening day of the Major League Baseball season. Join us Thursday at 7 for the Oakland A's home opener.
Now turns, here it is. And it's a ground ball toward third. Riley has got it, bobbles it, picks it up, throws it up plate, hit too late, and the A's have won it.
It's the A's and Cleveland Guardians. Thursday at 7 in the season opener on Sactown Sports.
Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event is on. It's time to hit the road with powerful performance and fewer fill-ups. Toyota has more hybrid and plug-in hybrid options than any other brand, with the same legendary dependability you can count on. Right now, get incredible 0% APR financing for 72 months, or choose a low lease on the all-electric 2023 PZ4X. Hurry in. Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event ends soon. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Ends 4/1/24.
Hi, everyone. It's Emran Pilati, host of the True Sports Card Show here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday at 10 a.m. Would you like a chance to meet Ricky Henderson, Dennis Rodman, Johnny Manziel, Randy Johnson, Frank Thomas, Vlad Guerrero Sr., Dave Stewart, and our favorite Malik Monk, and meet over 90 sports card dealers all in one weekend? This is your chance to do it on May 17th through the 19th at the Roseville Fairgrounds at the Sacramento Autograph Expo. You can get all the information about the show on our website at sacautograph.expo.com. That's sacautograph.expo.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Save big during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's with limited time deals on everything you need. Right now, buy one select DeWalt 20-volt max tool, get one DeWalt 20-volt max power stack battery 2-pack free, a $179 value. Plus, save $20 on a select bucket of Deck Plus wood screws. Find these deals and more in-store and online today. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 3/18 through 3/29 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
National Ping Club Fitter of the Year, Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is introducing the straightest, most forgiving Ping driver ever with the new Ping G430 Max 10K driver. A fixed back weight, Ping's largest head profile, and a carbon fly wrap crown help G430 Max 10K launch the ball higher with less spin for consistently longer and straighter results. Schedule your fitting and see for yourself at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue to Cap City Freeway, or online at hagenoaks.com.
Right now, Meta Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on new 2024 half-ton Silverado LT Crew Cab four-wheel drives after rebate. It's a Meta Chevy exclusive.
See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/24.
See all the savings at MetaChevy.com. Together, let's drive. Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
One thing to remember, and again, these aren't excuses, it's just reality of the situation, joined by the Sactown Sports Kings insiders, Frankie Cardicelli and Brendan
Nunes, one thing to remember as Dwayne Baker on the Sack Chat asked the question, how much of last night had to do with Herter, Lyles, and Sasha being out? I would say the Mavericks, even though Luka was banged up, the Mavericks, based on who they have in their rotation, was definitely, I know they had to travel. They were both off back-to-backs. The Mavericks were definitely healthier than the Kings. They have more of their rotation than what the Kings have.
They're missing Josh Green, I think, who's been good for them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we were talking about during the break, too, and I think while, it was kind of like an interesting time on social media. Social media is toxic for a lot of reasons, but when the news of Kevin's injury came up, some people looked at that as a time to say, oh, Keon gets to play. And it's like, okay, well, I look at it as the Kings are down a pretty important rotation piece. A guy who's been very integral to their success for the past season, plus a guy who can really get hot from three and change a game. And as far as his off-ball cutting, I think Herter and Sabonis connected a lot on those off-ball plays. You're missing a guy that was playing nearly 30 minutes a game, a guy who's been a veteran, who's had big moments in playoff series before when he was with Atlanta. I think it hurts. And obviously without Trey Lyles, the Kings are down 2 of their top 7 guys in the rotation for most of the last 2 seasons. So again, not an excuse. I'm just looking at like the grand scheme of the rest of the season as far as we don't know how long Trey Lyles will be out, but we're supposed to get an update, I think, over the next week. I think we're on week 1.5 of 2. Maybe by the end of this upcoming weekend, we'll get an update. But they need some of those guys back. They need to have, whether it's Sasha Vezenkov and Trey Lyles back. And it doesn't seem like Kevin Herter will be coming back this year. We haven't heard an official update yet, but it just seems like that outlook is bleak with the labral tear. But I think there's no doubt that the Kings are going to be kind of struggling to kind of find that consistency and find that rhythm with their depth, because we've seen Chris Duarte, his minutes have been pretty inconsistent. I think he's had back-to-back rough games, and he has some good moments as well. But being down Kevin Herter and Trey Lyles is pretty tough for this Kings team right now.
Yeah, and the way I look at it, as whether we were arguing Kevin Herter to start or not, he would still be contributing in some fashion. Not having him on the roster at all or able to play him at all, that is not the same as, oh, maybe he shouldn't be starting right now. So I think that is what, and everybody was high. And look, we're all in the pressers. How many times has Coach Mike Brown said, hey, let's not get too high on Keon. He's still a young guy.
Right.
And even with what Keon is bringing to the table defensively and offensively, 10 points last night, the idea that Kevin Herter's not starting anymore, if that were to happen, is the same as Kevin Herter not being able to call on him in case of emergency, and having that spacing is a big difference. It's a big difference.
It definitely is. I mean, the small guard, 3-guard lineups that we're seeing right now, like, Kevin plays as a guard.
I'm so done. Really? Every time I look at Chris, I say, well, what was Brendan last night? Who was it? Davion,
Malik, and Keon.
Come on, dude.
That one, I mean, when Malik is going,
okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Because I don't mind the Fox, Keon, and Malik one. Like, that one has been
no, that one's fine.
But
that one's fine.
And I think that other one is really just like Malik needs to be going. These last 3 games for Malik have been bad. I had someone earlier in the year be like, what does Malik Monk do that Zach LaVine, or what does Zach LaVine do that Malik Monk doesn't? I was like, well, I kind of get what you're saying, but I think it's just consistency, really.
Yeah.
Like at least get you 15 on a bad night.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe on like.
But he's a starter, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he gets more opportunity, but I think Malik still does have some inconsistencies that can harm this team. And maybe that's a roster construction thing, that they are overly reliant on him being that third kind of second scorer even, and why we talk about needing to make a big deal this offseason when it comes to long-term construction. But right now it's hard to survive nights where he's not producing that much, especially when De'Aaron also struggles in the way that he does.
That's another piece of this with having Trey Lyles and Kevin Herter out. I know Malik is just as open as De'Aaron is as far as, hey, I didn't play well tonight or this or that. Is there a part of this that maybe Malik is feeling a little bit more pressure from not having Trey Lyles off the bench and not having, Kevin Herter in that lineup? I mean, they really need Malik right now.
Yeah.
Whether he feels it or not is one thing, but I think whether there is more pressure on him, I think that there is, because I think, like you just said it, you're missing roughly 20 points per game. That's 20 points per game that you're not having on the floor for you. And we know what Malik can do. I think, Brendan, you had a tweet today, a record when Malik scores 20. I think it's 17-4 when he scores 20 or more.
Yeah, I can pull it up and make sure. Yeah, 18-7 when he scores 20 or more.
That's got to be like a 60% or higher winning percentage, maybe even more so, math. But when you score 20 points against the Wizards in a loss, which again, that's a game, we want to flush, but 20 points in that game, over the past 3, you scored 21. That's just not Malik Monk. That's just not the Malik Monk we all know. And again, on nights where De'Aaron is having a slow start, like last night in the first quarter, I think he had 2 points. You kind of do rely on him to give you that scoring punch. That's kind of why the Kings have been so good when they're on. If one of those two aren't going, you have a similar skill set from De'Aaron or Malik to push the offense forward as the head of a snake. And I think it's kind of putting pressure on Malik. It's putting more pressure on Harrison Barnes, who's had a couple of bad games, and obviously more pressure on De'Aaron Fox to score more. Because again, Kevin Huerter was not a 20-point per game scorer, but he had those big games. He could get going. And I think you can't really look at guys like Domantas Sabonis give you 25 plus a night. I don't think it's fair to look for him to do something like that when he's doing the other things on the glass and he's moving the ball around. You can't expect De'Aaron to score 35, 40 every night. And I think that kind of is where Malik comes into play. If he's not having a good night, who can step up and be that other option? And I don't know if it's Keon. I think it kind of goes to Keegan. Obviously, he's the next up in line, but we know how that goes. So definitely think there's more pressure on Malik, but maybe the return of Trey, which hopefully he'll be back by the time the postseason starts. It seems like he might be, but maybe that'll help. But I think that the loss of Kevin Huerter does kind of magnify Malik's volume.
Yeah, no, these last 3 games has been really bad for Lewis. He's averaging 7 points, 4 boards on 25% from the field and 0. He hasn't hit a 3 in 3
how many games?
3 games. This is his last 3 games. He's averaging 7 points, 4 assists, 25% from the field. He has not hit a 3 in 3 games. He is 0 of his last 9 from 3. And Frankie, I completely agree with you. Like, it feels like in a weird way, I mean, they're 2-1 in those games, but what happened in Orlando? Keon had a career high 18. What happened in Philly? Season high 18 for Davion. And so they kind of picked up the slack there, but on a night like last night where, Keon, I think had 10, I think Davion had 8, something like that. You needed that Malik Monk pop, and it never came. And I mean, we've seen how important he is to this team all year, but you're right. Like, without Trey, without Sasha, without Kevin Huerter in there, it's no longer it's a luxury to have Malik be that third option. Right. It's now, no, if Malik's not scoring 15 and realistically to the number 20 plus, it's going to be a pretty long night probably for your offense.
And I mean, it kind of goes back to that Fox or Malik thing. If one of them are on, like the Kings are in a good spot. Yeah. At least if one of them are on, they combined for 28 points last night. And they both played, I mean, Fox played 32 minutes and Malik played 27, 28. That's not too far off of regular season minutes. Like maybe I think garbage time, like they both were on the bench. But if they're going to combine for 28 points, I mean, the Kings are just really behind the 8 ball. They're not going to win games.
No, I don't see it happening. They need Malik. He's incredibly important to this team. And I'm wondering now who else you can call on if you're not going to get that from Malik. Chris Duarte, he can hit a couple threes here or there. We understand that, but he's not a guy you're going to be able to call on night in and night out. And I'm looking here, guys, at Malik being the guy that does tend to break up the flow offense. De'Aaron obviously does when it's money time, but Malik is another guy. And I don't want to go too far here. That first 3, we know how important the first 3 can be for a guy. Even though it went in and out, the hesitation that you could see on Malik's face, I'm starting to get worried. It's moving up to between the ears here. I need him to hit his first 3 on Friday. He hits his first 3 on Friday, I think we're back cooking. And we were playing Malik Monk, and it's a good time. But I am incredibly worried because you can tell. You can tell, guys.
So I think it might be between your ears, bro.
I'm telling no, Chris.
Yeah,
you can tell. Chris, come on.
No, Malik's confidence is
like
the last thing I'm going to worry
come
about.
On.
Malik's confidence, I promise you. I hope one day I'm even close to as confident as Malik Monk.
Well, you're making me feel better. Still make the first one. When we return, continuing the conversation, and we're starting to look forward to Friday. What adjustments can the Kings make to get it done? Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, we're David and Greg Figueroa, founders of Melinda's Hot Sauce. Sometimes brand testimonials feel, well, Unbelievable.
So we have a fresh take. Tastemonials.
Comments from real people on the internet who love Melinda's balance of hot heat and fresh, flavorful ingredients.
At 2021 Dewwork says, legendary. Nobody does it better.
What was that?
Sounds for fire emoji, touchdown emoji, and 100% emoji.
Okay. At Snack Food Mafia says, I love how they are a thicker hot sauce and not some watery junk.
Love it. At Moshroom writes, best hot sauce west of the Mississippi, also the best hot sauce east of the Mississippi.
Pro tip, that's the whole United States.
Finally, at IGP1 always says, smack so hard.
We love to hear that as much as the FCC.
Set your mouth on flavor with Melinda's hot sauces. Find them at your local retailer or online at melindas.com. That's MELINDAS.com.
Man, I love spring. The days are warmer and getting longer. And unless you live in Arizona or Hawaii, it's almost time to move those clocks ahead for daylight savings. And moving the clock ahead makes it feel like there's an extra hour in your day. But if you're hiring, sadly, that extra hour doesn't add any more job candidates to your pool. But ZipRecruiter can. And right now, you could try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/40. I doubt anyone has the time to post your available job to over 100 job sites on your own. But ZipRecruiter does that and so much more to help you reach the right people. And ZipRecruiter's smart technology scans thousands of resumes to identify the people whose skills and experience match your posting. So spring forward with a new hiring partner, ZipRecruiter, and find top talent sooner. See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So go to this exclusive website to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/40. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/40. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
With RT Painting, our name says it all. We are a reliable and trusted commercial and residential painting company serving the Sacramento area since 1998. Employee-owned, our attention to detail is second to none. Put our decades of experience serving our community to use for you. Get a free quote today. Call us at 916-900-8112. That's 916-900-8112. Or go online to rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
It's Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you want a deal that's a slam dunk, go see the winning team at Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is your truck headquarters with all your American-made favorites, like America's best-selling F-Series, F-150s, and Super Duties, or spacious new Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford, right here in Sacramento. You can buy any new Ford with zero down on approved credit, save big with low interest finance rates, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Check out the huge selection of inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership to see their most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. They'll help you out. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 35 years and counting.
Elevate your golf game at Timber Creek Golf Course in Roseville. Just named to the prestigious Golfer's Choice 2024 Top 25 Public Golf Courses in all of California by Golf Pass. Timber Creek offers an unparalleled experience. Our revamped practice facility features a grass driving range, expanded putting greens, and a chipping area complete with sand traps. Whether you're a pro or just starting your golf journey, Timber Creek is the place to be. Visit us and discover why we're the talk of Sacramento and beyond. Unwind and tee off at Timber Creek Golf Course.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
The weather's warming up, spring is here, and so is road trip season. And if you're saying, yeah, sure, I would love to load everything up in my car and hit the road and go on a long road trip, but I don't trust my car. It's not dependable. Well, then go see my friends at Elk Grove Kia. They'll get you into something dependable and super affordable, like a brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS for $19,988. Yep, at a time when the average new car price is over $48,000, Elk Grove Kia can get you into a brand new car for less than half of that. This car's loaded with automatic transmission, an 8-inch touchscreen with rear camera. It's got advanced driver assistance system, so it's got tech and safety. And again, this brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS can be yours for only $19,988. Only at the #1 Sacramento Kia dealer, Elk Grove Kia, in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, and online at elkgrovekia.com. Elk Grove Kia sale price $20,738. Kia rebate $750. Net price $19,988. One at this price. Stock number GK9219 expires March 31st, 2024.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Couple more segments with our guys at the Kings round table. Of course, you can tell by the beautiful sounds.
How could you not like this?
You rock to
I write to this.
I could write to this.
I could write to this.
You work out to this?
I'll go to a gym to this. Yeah.
No.
Catch me at Calculator today. It's just
I could run.
This sounds a little more like tropical than it does like medieval.
A little ting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little thing.
Sounds like
Steel
like if you
drum
like
in there.
pina coladas.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I received that. See, that's feedback. That's feedback.
I like a
received
night
that.
on a beach.
I think it's a hybrid. I think it's
Is
both.
this just like a channel that you found, Simone, that just remixes
Yes.
all
Wow.
songs
Yes.
into?
And as soon as we get this sponsored, we'll get it real dialed up. But
yeah,
for
that's
right
right.
now,
Yeah.
this is what we got, you guys. A little medieval songs to bring you back.
Yeah,
Right,
a little free sample there.
I was over here singing the weekend one last time and almost broke Allen. In the
Yeah,
middle
no,
of it.
I didn't. Yeah, I was getting ready to ask a question. Is Brendan ready here? You just want to
no
break
Harry
out the
Styles
song?
No Harry Styles love.
Yeah, as it was, dude.
As it was.
Where
Well,
were you when One Direction broke up?
I was.
It was probably working here.
Yeah, I
Definitely
was.
working
I
here.
was hoping that the Kings could figure it out against the Mavericks, and that's what we're hoping happens against the Mavs on Friday. Guys, what are the main things? Or initially, we have a whole other day, by the way, and I don't know if we're going to run into any Mavs around town these next couple nights, right? Just taking in the city, taking in Doko. As of right now, and I know you're probably going to put out some more content before the game happens on Friday, but what are the main adjustments besides hopefully the others missing shots for the Mavericks? What are the main adjustments that you've seen so far, just the night after, that the Kings may look to make? And that's the cool thing about this, treating it as a series versus just one-off games. What are some of the adjustments you think the Kings can look to make, if any, for Friday?
I think Domas being a little bit more aggressive. It was talked about how the bigs were playing really high up on him. And that's not how Dallas typically plays. I think there were some aspects, might have said this earlier, that Dallas just kind of caught the Kings off guard because it's not typically how they play defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was one of them where Domas could be a little bit more aggressive. Those dribble handoffs. Have you ever seen him fake a dribble handoff? Did I say this earlier? I don't think
this
I
to
did.
me. No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's more difficult than it is for Draymond, because for Draymond, it's Steph and Clay coming off that everybody is following behind.
Right.
On these other guys, on De'Aaron or even Keon right now, you're going under. So that's another guy for Domas to have to get past for a fake.
Right.
But play with that a little bit, or just get downhill, get some momentum on these guys. It's Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively. Like, Domas is quicker than these guys. I think he does have a little bit of shiftiness for a big that he could get past them. And then I think these other guys just making plays, that De'Aaron and Malik being ready for what a double team is going to look like, and making that simple read that might end up with a hockey assist rather than trying to force it with a skip. So for me, I think it's a lot of offensive things. And yeah, I mean, that's mainly where I focus on.
I'm looking here, as you mentioned, Domas, and I was thinking about him getting downhill, and it seemed as if he did a lot in the half court set. And one thing that I noticed, or that I'm noticing right here, is that part of Domas is he'll either get fouled or he'll get that offensive rebound and put it back up. How many offensive rebounds, and I'm talking to Frank Fax here, so he probably knows. How many offensive rebounds do you guys think that Domas had last night?
Last night, I'm going to guess maybe 2.
4.
Chris?
Me, I'll say 3.
He had 1.
Oh, really?
He had 1, and I have no clue if he scored off of that. But that's another thing that it's not baked into the offense,
but you just assume is going to happen a little bit. And the Mavs really limited that from happening. So I don't think you can game plan and say, all right, we're going to get more offensive rebounds on Friday, but it is something that is a reason you see the 12 points and the 11 rebounds. You're used to, I think Sabonis a couple of nights ago had about 6 or 7 offensive rebounds. So another thing that maybe you can't game plan for, but hopefully the Kings will be able to get more out of.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely, both of your guys' points are big. For myself personally, I'm looking at the avenue that really, I think, hurt the Kings the most, and that was 3-point shooting. Again, just how rare it is for Dallas to shoot the way they did, or any team really. I mean, what they did against the Kings was, I don't think them shooting 56% is going to happen again. That might be a hot take. Maybe they shoot 60 and I'm wrong, whatever. But the Kings this season, when they hold opponents under 35% from 3, they can keep them under that 35% mark. They're 24-6. It's an 80% winning percentage. So for a team like Dallas, who's been struggling for really over the past week and a half from 3, last night was kind of an outlier. And if you can get them back to that point and have more pressure on the perimeter, I think the Kings will be in a much better position to win. Yeah. But of course, they have to make their own shots. They shot 38%. A lot of those field goal attempts kind of went, wrong in the fourth and in garbage time. I think we're like at 45% when I started putting my head down and finishing my recap at the beginning of the fourth because the game was pretty much over. But it wasn't really a horrible offensive night for them. It just kind of the wheels came off late. And when you let a team score 132 points, it's not really going to go well for you. But I'm looking at 3-point defense.
I was wondering a number we were talking about earlier, and I think you and Alan talked about it yesterday. The Kings' second half record when they're down at halftime, 7-25.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? What does that mean? Are you reading a lot into that? I mean, obviously they always say second half adjustments. Is that just a sign that the Kings don't make second half adjustments?
I think at the beginning of the year, they were like one of the worst second quarter team for a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Second quarter.
I think they were the worst second quarter team for the first half of the season. I feel like that trend's gotten better in the second half. I'd have to double check, but I think I was telling you at halftime, like if they can get the lead by the third quarter, I think like they're 35-7 or something crazy like that going to the fourth. And of course, we all saw what happened.
Yeah, but the opposite.
But there's usually with games, and I was telling Brendan like the way I kind of like write things, like there's usually like a one bad quarter. Like for a game to get out of control, usually there's those games where there's battles throughout the night, and then it comes down to whoever has the ball last. But usually one quarter is what determines a lot of games.
Right.
And the Kings, I think more times than not, at the beginning of the year, the second quarter was that quarter. Last year was the third period.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of like what we saw last night. It was kind of like a callback to last year, how the Kings were a very bad third quarter team. Well, we have to hope that trend doesn't continue, because now when these games really matter, you want to hope that those halftime adjustments can help you, change things around and put yourself in a better position to win. But I just kind of look at it as a bad first half in the second quarter. And last night, I think, was just a bad third. But will that be a trend? I don't know. I hope not. But those numbers were pretty, concerning last night, but also encouraging. If the Kings have a lead going to the third now, you feel pretty good about the Kings pulling out a win, but they got to get in that spot to begin with.
It did feel like, even though the wheels came off in the third, the second may have started the cracks in the armor of the Kings, because I know a lot of us said, even though they were down maybe 6 at halftime, 5 or 6, it felt a lot worse. And I think that the Kings thought they were going to be able to stick to their game plan. They were going to hang around. They eventually, the Derrick Jones Juniors of the world, they were going to miss. And going into halftime, maybe they have the lead, or maybe it's a tie game. And even though it was only 5-6 points, the turnovers really killed the Kings in the second quarter. And I think we felt good about them not being down worse, but they didn't feel as if, all right, if we do X, Y, and Z, we can take over. They were just hoping for misses, which didn't happen. So I do think it was the third, but I believe that their spirit may have already been broken in the second, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think end of second, start of third has been kind of something that's been talked about a little bit, how they close a half and start that third specifically. There were a couple games post All-Star break where that was really emphasized, of they did that really well. So there's definitely a carryover. And I think those 2-3 minutes at the end and start of quarters, it's easy to, be a little lackadaisical or not be super locked in, specifically before and after half. And those little margins just make all the difference for a team that, is kind of middle of the pack when it comes to the Kings.
It has felt like, yeah, you mentioned that start of the third quarter specific. Maybe it's just us feeling it. Maybe it's not something that's truly there, but it does feel like the energy is always really weird. Like the first 2 or 3 minutes of the third quarter, people are still kind of filing in from halftime. The energy's not quite there. And sometimes it does feel like that's the moment where, maybe you're grabbing popcorn, whatever. Maybe we're downstairs chatting it up, getting the halftime hot dog, and then we'll come up and it's a completely different game than what we had left it at halftime. And so it is interesting that you notice, and that's something that I think a lot of coaches talk about is closing quarters and especially closing halves. It just hasn't felt like the Kings have really taken advantage of that all year. It felt like, they've really have let go of the ropes. Sometimes it feels like that late third is usually when they make their push, but that's really the only time where you feel them kind of hunting like a time frame in the game. It's really something interesting.
Well, also like the game really went off the rails in the first couple minutes of the third quarter because, as you mentioned, fans falling in the seats. Some empty seats in the crowd.
The only one ever there, man. He's the only one who's always sitting there the second halftime starts.
Well, by the time people settled into their seats after the 9-minute mark, 8.5 minute mark, actually, I'm seeing right here, the Mavs were on a 15-3 run to start the second half.
That's
so
great.
By the time that happens, Kings are down by 12, and at that point, it really was just kind of over. The Kings never really even got within that close again. So I think it's been rare for the Kings, though, for them, especially like in recent memory, even like that game in Washington, like they went down big early, but they fought back and they kind of just hovered around that 8-9 point deficit for most of the night. But what we saw last night, again, the second worst or tied for the worst loss of the season, I'm not going to look at it and just kind of like freak out or anything like that. I think it really was just a matter of the Kings just got flat out beat. You can go ahead and equate it whatever you want. You can call it they were tired. You can call it that the Mavericks just had more energy. They had more talent last night. Whatever you want to call it. It just was one of those games that I look at for the 2023-24 Kings as like a true outlier. I don't think that this is indicative of what's going to continue or any trends, but everything went wrong for them last night. Even when they made the adjustment in the third quarter, that one adjustment of slowing Luka down, their offense went flat. Kyrie got just cooking, and the game was over.
Yeah. Chris and I went back and forth a little bit about Keon on Luka, or not on Luka. Well, he was on Luka, but also on Kyrie. What did you think about Keon on Kyrie? I felt like it was a little bit of a welcome to the league moment. And Chris had kind of talked about how, honestly, it felt like Kyrie had to open his bag a little bit, which is a good sign that Keon, he was maybe a little bit, I don't know, surprised is the right word, but felt as if he had to come correct against somebody like Keon Ellis.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't look because it was already over, and I may have went downstairs with Frankie about 2 minutes left. But I'd be interested to see like what the post-game interaction between them sort of looked like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I do think that Keon made him work a little bit, and there were some rookie moments. And Keon's a second-year guy, but first time really getting extended minutes in the NBA. Wasn't really playing. I mean, primarily just with Stockton last year. So. I think a lot of the mistakes we've seen from Keon are typical rookie stuff. You look at the Jalen Brunson screen, or looked for a screen coming, got totally blown by the end of the game. There's 2-3 plays against Kyrie that were probably Keon's going to be on a highlight reel somewhere, And so I think, but they're typical rookie mistakes. He made them work. I think they did an okay job on Kyrie. I know he had a big second half. It was more Luka to me where I was like, I don't know how to do anything about this.
He set the tone, and Luka's going to chuck up the threes. And when they go in, that just opens up the whole game plan or destroys the game plan for the defense. That's basically what De'Aaron talked about in the post game as well. One more segment with our Sactown Sports Kings insiders. When we return, how to attack Luka when he's on defense. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Oakland A's open the 2024 season at home Thursday against the Cleveland Guardians.
Swung on and missed. That's the way this ball game ends.
First pitch at 7 on Sactown Sports.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's going on for the Jeep celebration event?
Save big on your next off-road adventure when you get $15,000 off MSRP on remaining new 2023 Jeep Gladiator Sport, Rubicon, and Mojave. You pick.
My wife has one of those Jeep Gladiator trucks, and she loves it.
Everyone I know that has a Gladiator loves them. And we have 16 to choose from. We're here to help you find the vehicle you need at the best possible price. That's why we don't have a bunch of dealer markups, surprise add-ons, or fees. At Hoblet, you get the small town experience with the big city savings and selection.
This savings can't last long. Don't miss your chance to save big with Hoblet. See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$15,000 in total net savings after national standalone 15% of MSRP factory rebate. Sample VIN 566-279. 2023 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon with $94.94 factory rebates and $55.06 dealer discount. $15,000 total net savings, 5 at each net savings. See dealer for details.
Join Chris Watkins and the Sactown Sports Street Team this Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Fieldhouse American Sports Pub for some basketball madness and their mouth-watering full menu. 1310 Fulton Avenue. See you there.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Let me start here, fellas. One more segment with the Sactown Sports Kings insiders. Frankie Cardicelli and Brendan Nunez. Let me start here. Yes, and these are the sweet sounds of a medieval Usher. Yeah, Usher. Simone's played this one before.
Sir Usher.
I have.
Yeah, trust me, I never, I've this one has been ingrained in my brain since the first time I heard it.
A little more piccolo.
You need the piccolo.
Are you a piccolo guy?
Huge.
Okay.
The biggest.
Okay.
Piccolo guy.
Which piccolo?
The instrument.
Okay.
What?
Oh, there's a Dragon Ball Z.
What do you mean?
I was thinking Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
I was
not,
a little confused too.
Sorry,
I was
Darren
like,
Fox,
hey,
if you heard that, would be
I
very
know
upset.
we're on air, right?
I'm not a Dragon Ball Z guy. I don't know anything about Dragon Ball. I watched a little bit of it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Frankie fact, right?
I'll brush up on it.
Well, you do know a lot about the game of basketball, and you have Luka Doncic, who, guys, do we know what in the world, and we can kind of use this as an injury update. I don't know if anything's come out yet, but what in the world is going on with Luka's Achilles? Chris and I spent plenty of time trying to figure out what happened with Luka's Achilles from the night before. And then he comes out, he plays. He had to play 41 minutes. He's clearly hobbling, right, throughout the game. Is that something, and I know we're not doctors here, but do we think that's something that's going to feel better? They do get 2 nights, but is something that's going to feel better? I mean, I know they wouldn't risk Luka like this, but I don't, me personally, I'm still rehabbing, coming back from an Achilles.
You tell us, man.
I never had a warning shot, though. My thing just went pop, pop. It was just done. So I don't know how it feels to and I think Anthony Davis has dealt with this in the past. Giannis, I thought Giannis was done, and Giannis came back like two or three games later. I don't know what to make of it. All I know is I don't understand how you are the Mavericks in a season where you're probably not going to do too much, watching your franchise guy hobble around on an Achilles, though. I mean, an Achilles.
I'm not a doctor. Grandpa is, but that doesn't mean I know anything. But I'll give you.
Doctor adjacent.
My best shot is I'd imagine with a franchise player, a guy like that who's an MVP candidate, they probably had imaging done. Mm-hmm. I'd imagine that they saw that he can't. I don't think it's in danger of.
It's just sore.
He might have like a tendonitis, something like that. That's kind of just a nagging injury that he can't really deal with the offseason. And this is kind of what Luka does, though. Every year he's kind of dealing with something. Like he's kind of laboring going into the postseason, dealing with an injury. I think was it last year or the year before he had a bad ankle sprain, like on the next to last game of the year in New Orleans. I can't remember if that was last year or the before, but I'd imagine they're just kind of letting him go. And I don't know if you guys saw, I don't know if he was on the floor for layup lines or for stretching, but he was not on the bench for pregame introductions. He was not on the floor for the anthem. So he might be getting worked on just behind the scenes.
Wow. He was in the layup line.
Well, he wasn't on the bench for any. I think he might have gone back to get maybe last second work. I don't know, but he wasn't out there for the anthem or for starting introduction. So I'm not sure what they do with that. It's probably a per case basis, but I'd imagine they've done the necessary imaging,
Yeah.
all that. Otherwise, I wouldn't roll him out there if he was on the verge of tearing.
Yeah,
Achilles.
and I'm fairly sure it'll feel better on Friday. It's definitely going to feel better than it probably did yesterday, which was another reason it would have been really nice for the Kings to get it done with Luka being on the court. And whether he's 100% or not, he never plays 100% on the defensive end. From what you saw last night, how can you? Was that a shot fired?
a little shot fired.
Yeah. I mean,
just a little bit.
Where's the lie?
He was on one of those. What was it? Keegan was on one of those graphics for. I think it was defensive. I can't remember what stat it was.
ISO defender.
Yeah, and Luka was on there, and someone. I think Carmichael Dave was like, "Well, I guess we can't take this set seriously."
It was a very old
because Luka's
stat.
on here.
Yeah. What do you think the Kings can do? It did not feel like the Kings were able to expose Luka defensively last night. How do they do that? Chris and I went back and forth with Keegan, and also with Keegan maybe not taking advantage of it. I saw Luka a lot, essentially playing rover on the baseline between Keon and Harrison Barnes. You just need to make your shots. I mean, Luka, I think, did a good job of feeding whoever was trying to drive into Derek Lively or whoever it was. But I think the idea of expose that man, and I was doing it too, right, on Twitter, is almost easier said than done. To be fair, they're used to teams trying to expose Luka on the defensive end.
They are, and I think that the two things you pointed out are what I was going to go to as well, is that there's an aspect of like Keegan just needs to be more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Keegan needs to, we've talked about it plenty, but that specifically, when you have that matchup on you, and visually you can tell this dude is injured. He's hobbling around very clearly. Then go at him. And the flow of their offense, it's like, sure, you can try to drop a play for him here and there, but for the most part, it's like you just need to go and get it. You need to be aggressive and stop being willing to play second fiddle, sort of thing. Take over this possession. And so I think there is that aspect. I think the zone that you mentioned as well. But I think kind of like the bigger thing that I'm starting to question as we've been having this conversation is like, how much are they missing Kevin Huerter on offense right now? Is that Keegan Murray, by the way, should not be someone you can hide a player on, but it has been throughout the course of this season, which doesn't make sense to me. But then now you also have Keon Ellis, and Kevin Huerter used to be the guy where it's like, okay, we'll probably put Kyrie on him. We'll probably put Steph on him, and like, or Duncan Robinson, like just chase him around screens. Like that's not easy. How tired is Kyrie in the second half is if he's been chasing around Kevin Huerter in the first half, so I think there's an interesting aspect here, but I think that for the most part, it's that Keegan needs to, if that's the specific matchup, which it was for most that first half, is that Keegan needs to just be more aggressive.
I'm looking at it here, man, and I went off on it earlier, and I'm even more upset. Luka, in terms of defensive field goal attempts, is the fourth most non-center defensive field goal attempts in the NBA. Every single team has the game plan of attack Luka. I don't care how you have to do it. And the fact that I'm looking at last night and the Kings only attack him 10 times, I just don't see how that's acceptable. I don't see how that's not one of the first things on your game plan. Is I don't care if it's Keegan. I don't care. Just figure out how to get him switched onto a defender and just attack regardless. I think that it's shown that he, throughout this season, 48% team shoot on Luka when guarded by Luka Doncic. I'm taking those numbers every single time. I just don't really see how that wasn't part of the Kings game plan. 55% allowed on 2-point field goal attempts. It just, to me, seems like Luka is the, everything we used to say about, other teams just attacking Kevin Huerter. Oh my God, they're getting Kevin Huerter into these isolation situations and just attacking until Kevin Huerter gets off the floor. Do that with Luka. Make Luka's offense a necessity to keep him on the floor, because he should be just an absolute turnstile on defense, and he has been all year long.
They're going to have to do something. What you got, Frankie?
Nothing. I'm just saying, like, I agree. I'm looking at the defensive matchups, and the most of the Kings players scored on Luka last night was 5 points, and that just, to me, maybe we see more of the things we saw against Kevin Huerter like earlier in the season as far as teams seeking the switches. Maybe the Kings try to switch Fox on Luka. I think that Fox last night, he only scored 2 points on Luka. He took 2 shots, made one of them. I feel like I remember the possession too. I mean, Fox is just that quickness. There's no chance Luka's going to be able to keep up with him off the dribble. So
no.
And they don't really have. I mean, Lively is a shot blocker in the paint. So once Fox gets past Luka, it's the next line of defense is who's waiting in the paint. Is it PJ Washington? Is it Derek Lively? I think that De'Aaron Fox can take his chances on that. But I think searching for switches a little more and trying to target him a little more. Maybe we see that tomorrow on Friday, but yeah, I mean, I am a little perplexed by the fact they did not really target him at all.
That flow offense, got to let it come to you. Doesn't matter what the matchups are. Well, I don't know if that's going to work in the playoffs, but you got to get to the playoffs first. And that all starts on Friday. Thank you so much, Frankie, Cardicelli, Brandon Nunez. Be sure to catch them on SactownSports.com and on these here airwaves and their social media on Twitter, or as Brendan refers to it as X. When we return, continuing the conversation about the Kings. Also, a NCAA women's basketball player getting offered the bag to play somewhere else other than the WNBA. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Maida Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on every new Silverado LT and RST half-ton diesel in stock after rebates. A Maida Chevy exclusive. See all the truck season savings at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Ends 4/30/24.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Fidium Fiber, Dawson Oil Company, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling.
National Ping Club Fitter of the Year, Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is introducing the straightest, most forgiving Ping driver ever with the new Ping G430 Max 10K driver. A fixed back weight, Ping's largest head profile, and a carbon fly wrap crown help G430 Max 10K launch the ball higher with less spin for consistently longer and straighter results. Schedule your fitting and see for yourself at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue to Cap City Freeway, or online at HagenOaks.com.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Planning for spring at Lowe's means big savings on outdoor power equipment, and Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Buy one select Ego string trimmer, leaf blower, or mower kit. Get one select 56-volt battery free. That's up to a $299 value. Power through spring with Ego. the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 4/3 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Speaking of Achilles, kind of a random story that came out yesterday in the media availability. Dre Greenlaw wasn't the only 49er to tear his Achilles during the Super Bowl.
What?
Kyle Shanahan said yesterday secondary coach Daniel Bullocks did the same thing, celebrating Jair Brown's interception on the first drive of the second half. He stayed on the sideline for the entire game. I can tell you right now, that was probably incredibly painful.
Yeah, wait, what?
So we can look up how old Daniel Bullocks is. I mean, after 30, man, it gets a little squirrely out in these streets, and he jumped up, and that's crazy. I mean, I've heard horror stories.
41 years old.
Oh, man. I've heard horror stories.
It's probably the worst.
Playing with your kids, just not doing, because that's the worst part about tearing your Achilles for me is that people assume you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing at a certain age, as if you're going crazy. And it's almost embarrassing because that's not the case. They think I'm trying to still be LeBron James or whoever. I'm just trying to get a nice run in. Yeah. It goes pop goes the weasel. People are like, man, you gotta slow down, man.
Have you ever shared what happened to you and your injury, or you haven't shared that on air?
I don't know if I shared it on air. I mean, I know Chris knows. It was very simple. A nice Saturday morning, playing out in Alameda, or as it was known when I was out there, Alameda. And it was a broken play, kind of a fast break, and I'm trying to get to my left-hand side before the rest of the defense gets there, and I step down with my left, I dribble, and it was the weirdest feeling ever. And I just remember closing my eyes saying this did not happen, because at this time, baby Sal's like 2 months. I mean, this is terrible timing, awful timing. And I just remember saying it didn't happen. It didn't. There's no way this happened. There's no way this happened. Called my pops, who did it back in the early 2000s, and he's describing it to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking, it's exactly what probably happened. The worst part was when I did it, it was the classic look back, right? Because there were
everybody
two
always
courts.
says it feels like somebody steps on the back of your foot.
There was 2 courts. I thought there was a ball on the court. There was no ball. And I'm looking around just trying to figure out because I'm thinking there's just no way.
Yeah.
And a guy comes over and he says, I don't know if you're too graphic here, but he says, I heard it.
Gotcha.
I heard it.
Gotcha.
And I still thought maybe it's just partially. Maybe I just strained it. Are you sure? Maybe someone had bubble wrap or something. I don't know. And it's the weirdest sensation because your body. Kobe shot those free throws.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I could see how he was able to do that, but about an hour, 2.5 hours later, it was terrible.
Yeah.
And it's weird because your mind is telling, hey, arch, you're walking, arch your foot, and it snaps, so you can't.
Right.
It's just not. Yeah. It said, hey, buddy, we're not connected anymore. Yeah. And then I went in and they said, I don't even need to, because it's called the Thompson test, where they squeeze. I had my wife do it, and my leg didn't move at all. And I said, well,
you're not squeezing.
Yeah, maybe can you squeeze one more time? And then I went in about a day or two later, because I did it on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Go in, and the doctor said, I don't need to do the test. Just to wait. When do you want me to schedule your surgery? And I got it Wednesday, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, that's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. So, yeah, Daniel Bullock's get well soon, man.
We feel your sympathy, man.
Get well soon. Kyle Shanahan, says that a coach, there were 2 torn Achilles.
That's crazy.
That's
one
really
loss.
insightful. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
1 loss, 2 torn Achilles there at the Super Bowl. And I saw Jed York also was talking about not being ashamed of the lack of success that they've had in Super Bowls. I don't think there's anything to be ashamed about.
No.
Just getting there. I mean, think about all the teams that haven't even got there.
Yes,
so
I can do that.
Yeah, we'll have more on the Niners tomorrow, and as things start to come out about Brandon Ayuk. Hopefully, there will be some good news for the Niners fans out there as it pertains to Brandon Ayuk and the Niners. Also, Brock Purdy spoke with the women's basketball team. Yeah. And I'll tell you this much. You talk about athlete speak, and, Niner fans this is why he was captain in the second year. It wasn't a bad speech at all. It was just everything that you've ever heard before. Mm-hmm. It's exactly what you would have thought Brock Purdy would say.
It's like if you were to put Chat GPT and say, like, can you write a Drew Brees pregame speech or something?
Exactly. Exactly.
It was good. It was good. He hit all the right notes.
And they had already lost the game, right?
Exactly,
he was just saying how proud. So it wasn't a bump up speech.
Exactly,
it was be proud of yourself speech. So shout out to Brock Purdy for holding it down for Iowa State and those Cyclones. Speaking of college basketball, this just broke today. And I guess TMZ's been real busy, with everything that they have been able to.
Oh, man.
Everything that they've been able to grab. They've been working overtime. So they broke something that I guess Ice Cube was trying to keep under wraps. And Ice Cube is offering Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in the Big 3 League. The deal is for 8 regular season games and 2 playoff games. I would assume at least 2 playoff games if they win or not. And according to Ice Cube, he came out and said this wasn't supposed to break, but now that it did, Caitlin should be able to play and also play in the WNBA. Chris and I were trying to figure out what comes first. My assumption or our assumption is that the Big 3 would be after the WNBA, I would assume. But Caitlin, I mean, $5 million. I saw Chris, and you would know the numbers better than me, but Caitlin's looking at about $75K to play in the WNBA. Maybe she'd make a little bit more than that, but it wouldn't be anything close to $5 million. I don't know if there's any way she can afford to say no pun intended.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks like the Big 3 season starts in June 15th at Oracle Arena. I'm sorry, it just says Oakland Arena. I assume that's Oracle. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure I think that would conflict a little bit with the WNBA schedule.
Here you go. I got you. The first game for WNBA starts May 14th.
Yeah, so
I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if she would be able to do both. It's probably more likely if it's going to be towards the end of the season, but even then it's looking like, the season is going to begin May 14th and it's going to end September 19th. So I just don't think it's going to happen. You don't think
it's going to happen?
I don't think so. I think it's a good opportunity for her, but at the end of the day, I don't think she's going to be able to make it work. Maybe she can do I don't know how long the Big 3 runs for. It looks like it runs through August. I don't think she's going to have time with, her actual career going on.
Well, that begs the question.
Should she do the Big 3 instead of the WNBA? No.
What about 1 year?
No.
Get you $5 million.
No.
And then you do it next year. You're turning down $5 million over $75K?
Yeah, I think it's bigger for her to join the WNBA than to join the Big 3.
Do you think that based on endorsements from being in the WNBA?
Yeah, and also just her legacy, at some point it is a legacy conversation where she's trying to if she is part of the thing that elevates the WNBA to another level, bless the Big 3, but the Big 3 is not going to turn into anything else. I think it's a much bigger career opportunity for her. She's going to get a lot more sponsors if she plays for the WNBA. Then the $5 million will probably make up for all of the endorsements that she's going to get outside of the game. But even then, I feel like she's probably going to make a lot more than $5 million in endorsements once she's in the W.
Do you think the WNBA will feel, for lack of a better term, pressured to talk to Caitlin? And I guess her agent is basically going to say, all right, well, if she turns this down, it gives her incredible leverage, because any partners with the WNBA are going to have to throw her a bag to say, hey, we got to make sure that you are in the WNBA NBA. So either way, it's a great look for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. I'm sure State Farm's going to up that budget.
They're going to have to. Sorry, Jake.
Yeah.
Caitlin might have to be doing both.
Jake was at that game, remember?
Jake was at the game. Jake was at the game. Jake looks like he could hoop to me.
I honestly, I'm so out on, we can make, this is a summer conversation, but like new Jake from State Farm, I don't know why we had this whole
bug you?
Bobby Altoff conversation, not us, but like internet had this whole Bobby Altoff industry plan.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about the fact that this man, Jake from State Farm, literally just plopped up randomly. He was a replacement for the original Jake from State Farm. And now he's like popping up at sporting events, at like Rick Rubin white parties and stuff. And it's like,
what's the problem?
He's Jake from State Farm. Like, you don't see Flo out here just randomly.
Yeah, I wish I would.
Games. No,
I wish I would.
It's so weird. It's the weirdest thing on the
He was
world.
at my BravoCon too in Las Vegas.
Why?
Maybe they're two.
Why?
Maybe they're more
is
than
he
one
actually
Jake.
a person? Or is he just
Start
AI?
the tinfoil hats now.
Yeah.
Right? All right. When we return back to Kings Talk, also, how many Jakes really exist? Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and all NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Ad paid for by America First Tax Group. Attention, if you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you. But you must call 800-257-0663 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-257-0663. That's 800-257-0663. Again, 800-257-0663.
Jiffy Lube has a special promotion going on right now. Simply purchase a Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change at Jiffy Lube and receive a $25 e-gift card from popular brands for food, gas, and more. It's that easy. Simply purchase a Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change and receive a $25 e-gift card. So basically, going to Jiffy Lube can get you a free lunch or a pizza for dinner. That's what we call added value for the consumer. That's why Jiffy Lube is #1 in the greater Sacramento area for oil changes. Visit jiffylube.com for more details and valuable coupons today.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
Beachhead Deli on 711 K Street is now your place to go in downtown Sacramento prior to all the games, concerts, and events. Conveniently located just across the street from the arena, Beachhead Deli features the finest gourmet sandwiches and craft beverages anywhere. Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street is also your premier lunch destination 7 days a week. Come by and say hi to new owner Brad Wakai. He's so excited to take care of all your taste bud needs. That's Beachhead Deli at 711 K Street in Sacramento.
Hey guys, do you know your T-level?
Revive Men's Health here in Sacramento is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Revive's customized ED treatments can provide immediate results, restore blood flow naturally, and even bring spontaneity back into your love life. With both in-person and telemedicine appointments available, plus free shipping directly to you, Revive takes the hassle out of treating low T and ED. Having an optimal testosterone level can change your whole life, and it starts with knowing your T level. Take that first step and book your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation, and kickstart your treatment with a free supply of ED medication this month only. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566, or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Right now, the sewer system is probably the last thing on your mind. And that's okay, because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. If you have a sewer problem like a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Couple rumors going around with the NFL draft close by. And Chris, this is a surprise, and we can go very, very high level here because I hate to surprise you. But all I'll say is this on Caleb Williams.
Okay.
This is all I will say. It is hilarious to me that certain fans are saying that they couldn't rock with this guy because of the nail polish and the pink phone, when we know for a fact that if you were a Bears fan, we've seen you go to bat for all walks of life if they wear your jersey. So it's just funny to me that just in this situation, I saw Niner fans do it because Niner fans have their guy in Brock Purdy. It's just hilarious to me that because it's a situation that you're not in, you're saying that. I'm not going to get into how you should feel about it or anything like that, but it's funny to me that they can sit there and pretend as if, oh man, I couldn't rock with that.
Couldn't be my QB.
Couldn't be mine just because you're not in that situation. Right. But if you were, like, can we actually hear from Bears fans on this? Right. Because you saying that as a non-Bears fan means nothing. Absolutely nothing to
completely
me.
Nothing. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It does feel like everybody's got an opinion, but I guarantee you ask anybody in Chicago, they don't care. I would hope not. I would hope not.
There's probably a couple.
You got something really, really wrong with you. Yeah. If painting nails and pink phones and crying in the stands, if that's going to prevent you from drafting a potential Patrick Mahomes, like what are we talking? You're really going to let your pride get in the way of that? Like, come on, that's being ridiculous. And I'm not going to get into how you should feel. I'll tell you that you shouldn't care. I'll tell you that, but I'm not going to get into it a ton. But yeah, I mean, if you're a Bears fan, you should be rooting for the best quarterback for your team. There's of course certain things that are not okay to believe in and have, there's definitely lines that you can cross. Caleb Williams has not even been near crossing any of those lines. You should be rooting for the best quarterback to be on your team. And to me, it sounds like Caleb Williams I've started to get into this draft here. You know, it's been known that the Vikings are definitely looking to move up in these quarterback spots. It to me seems like Caleb Williams is the guy who, you know, say what you will about, you know, is he really Patrick Mahomes? Maybe not, but it feels like he's the guy who has, at the very least, the least questions about him, because I've heard tons of questions about Drake May. I've heard tons of questions about Jaden Daniels, and you know, we can talk all day about JJ McCarthy and his questions. You know, Caleb Williams. Great pro day. He can really spin that thing. But I mean, he's a winner, JJ McCarthy. Yep. But from the Caleb Williams front, I mean, if you're really letting those other things get in the way of taking him at number one, man, you're not paying attention to the right stuff.
Yeah, and it's just how people will feel that a quarterback or whoever is a representation of them. Yeah. When you're not him, even if you were on the team, right, you could say, well, you are not the quarterback. You are not Caleb Williams. So from a fan's perspective, you have, if that's a representation, or if you're feeling like that's represented to you, let me tell you this much. As an NFL fan, I can almost guarantee you've been represented by worse. Yeah. If that's how you feel. I've got a lot more problems with Kyrie Irving being on my team than Caleb Williams. Sure. Okay. I'm going to have a lot more questions about, hey, are we sure we want to bring in this guy that's, you know, thinking that the earth is, or questioning even if the earth is flat, and, you know, all the stuff during the COVID times, and him sitting time out, and, you know, maybe going to a party when he shouldn't have gone to a party and all that stuff. Those are a lot more legitimate and concerning reasons to not want somebody on your team than anything Caleb Williams has done. You know what? And it does tie back into the media thing as we bring it all back to De'Aaron Fox, and they don't give a bleep, because it is funny, and life is, a lot of people use life as a buffet, but it is funny how, oh, well, we just care about what he does on the court or on the field in certain situations. Right. That you want to rock with them or agree with them, but when you don't agree with them, now all of a sudden it matters what they do off the court or off the field. So we couldn't let that one get by without speaking to it. We're also not going to let Major League Baseball opening day go by. Now, I will say this, okay? I will do this on my own. I did it last season. It didn't work out for me, but Prop Talk, you can do full seasons. So you can see if you think Luis Matos going to have over 20 home runs, whatever it is. So I might have to cook a little bit later today before the season starts, but I'm going to start here with the Giants. I saw them they set the over-under for the A's at 57. 57 and a half. I think they won 50 last year. 57 and a half. Big improvement. I like some of the guys that the A's have. Sure. You know, I like Zach Geloff. I really like JD Davis. I'm happy that he's going to get an opportunity to play third base every day. So I'm hoping the best for the A's, and I'm going to be optimistic and say 60 wins. I know. Sure. I'm going to say 60 wins for the A's, so I'm going to say over 57 and a half. And for the Giants, I know last night in the media room, somebody said 93. I thought it was 97. 93 or 97 wins. It was a lot of wins. I'm a pretty optimistic Giants fan, and I'm going 89. Yeah. And hopefully that's enough to get into the wild card. That's all I hope. Right. That's all I hope. And I think that's how many the Diamondbacks won last year, or somewhere around. Mm-hmm. I don't think they had many more over 90 if they even reached 90. You know, and that feels like, you know, that would be a good season for the Giants. They were 84 and 78. Wow, so even worse. So, I mean, you would think that they'd be able to get in there. And, you know, they've definitely made the necessary moves to at least improve their record somewhat. It's going to be really a question of when their staff gets healthy, too. I mean, when does Robbie Ray come back? It sounds like most people are thinking that the All-Star break's going to be that target. Does he maybe come back sooner? Is that maybe a little bit optimistic in viewing it? We've seen your boy Jordan Hicks the other day had 10 Ks. 10 Ks. Come on, take a shower. You're filthy. That's what he was. 10 Ks in 5 innings. So, you know, if he's going to be a legitimate thing for the Giants this year, like that's probably going to go a little bit of a way. And it feels like that would be
kind of a bit of found money for them. So who knows, man? I'm not going to say that, 90, I think 97's a little bit high, especially considering where they were at last year, but it feels like 90 is definitely doable. And if things go the right way, who knows? Maybe they can really inch more towards the 95 and maybe even 97. 100 feels like it's not not going to happen.
Will Jorge Soler finally eclipse the 30 home runs that no one has done since Barry Bonds? But you got championships.
It could be Chapman too.
It could be Chapman. It could be Luis Matos. It's looking like Marco Luciano will be kicking it with us out here in Sacramento, which I am not extreme. I'm upset about it from a Giants fan standpoint as far as moving forward.
Right.
Nick Ahmed, we kind of know what he is.
Yeah.
But as far as me personally and being able to watch somebody who's going to be really good for this team for years to come, hopefully for years to come at a premium position, I am excited to see Marco Luciano and that beautiful weather, Sutter Health, and the River Cats. That's just an A1 organization over there.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing, and Kyle Draper knows what he's doing, along with Jay, as the Drive guys take you all the way home. They're up next. Don't move a muscle. Until tomorrow, thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins, and thank you to Frankie Cardicelli and Brandon Nunes, Sactown Sports Kings Insiders. Until tomorrow, secure the bag, light the beam.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I need new oil for my truck. Really, I need a new truck.
Mobile One is giving away a 2024 Chevy Colorado ZR2. When you pick up 5 quarts of Mobile One full synthetic with an STP extended life oil filter for $35.99, you're entered for a chance to win.
Whoa.
Other prizes include a year's supply of Mobile One or a $100 gift card.
Never been so excited for an oil change.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
No purchase necessary. Terms at AutoZone.com. Ends 5/27/24.
This March, Wendy's has some amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it.
Get it for $1. Dave's single, order the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details in the Redeem Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
The weather's warming up. Spring is here, and so is road trip season. And if you're saying, yeah, sure, I would love to load everything up in my car and hit the road and go on a long road trip, but I don't trust my car. It's not dependable. Well, then go see my friends at Elk Grove Kia. They'll get you into something dependable and super affordable, like a brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS for $19,988. Yep, at a time when the average new car price is over $48,000, Elk Grove Kia can get you into a brand new car for less than half of that. This car's loaded with automatic transmission, an 8-inch touchscreen with rear camera. It's got advanced driver assistance system, so it's got tech and safety. And again, this brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS can be yours for only $19,988. Only at the #1 Sacramento Kia dealer, Elk Grove Kia, in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, and online at elkgrovekia.com. Elk Grove Kia sale price, $20,738. Kia rebate, $750. Net price, $19,988. One at this price. Stock number GK9219. Expires March 31st, 2024.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
To thank you for 40 unforgettable years, Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Calling all sports fans. Experience the ultimate game day atmosphere at Fieldhouse, Sacramento's premier sports bar. With TVs scattered throughout the pub, you'll never miss a moment of the action. From football and basketball to baseball, MMA, boxing, and beyond. Voted as the #1 sports bar in Sacramento, we're your destination for all things sports. Swing by our convenient